there! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hi. Oh man, I slept so much of the day away. Trying to get over the rest of my sickness. Unfortunately, I didn't yet, but it's okay, you know. It's gonna disappear eventually. Oh? Okay, sweet. That's perfect if I can finish it today. That makes life way easier. Oh yeah, I was wondering why did Phantom change his name to Tragoria, but then I'm like, wait a second. Maybe it's because he wanted to have his own film writing name because BAM! Lead, Lucian, director, Tragoria. As one does, you know? Director and actor. Hello. I don't know where Mom put the music next. I don't want to ask her. Part of me wanted to take some before this, but too late. I don't want to talk to her. So now for 85, Promises of Reunion. My favorite lead. He once left, but we shall be reunited once more. And time to bring back Miss Christine. Miss Christine in all of her glory. Old Dalton's death and Shelley freezing in the cold storage were no accidents. Now Michael and Marion are dead too, in such a horrible way. Who's behind all this? Why are all the murders in the first place? And why are they so gruesome? Oh man, there's so many stories I could have bond with in FGO. I'm so bad, I only bring around my favorites. I have a feeling that Michael saw this coming. He looked a lot more serious than usual when we met the night before the murder. He must have figured out the real reason Dalton died, panicked, and decided to get out of here, but... now we'll never know what he was hiding. Maybe this all has to do with the accident 5 years ago. But what's really worrying me is that... I need to catch up more on top of, like, Nika and Hector's, even the Girls Frontline 2 event. Oh man. Hopefully I don't have to rush that event like the last event. The killer's not even trying to make them look like accidents anymore. What if they're trying to tell us that until the entire truth is brought to light, nobody is safe? Oh my gosh, sorry Molly, did my babbling scare you? Don't worry. It doesn't matter if there really is, like, a crazy killer running out there. I'll protect you no matter how many of them there are. Oh, that's not it, Detective Tippy. I was just thinking about what I can do on my end. Huh? Michael's dead now, but that doesn't mean that he wanted to die. But that doesn't mean what he wanted me to do doesn't matter anymore. The killer might be planning on using the escape land boats Miss Stone mentioned for the next movie. Or for the next move. So if we can figure out a way out, or put together something that'll get us to the ground, or even just find an exhaust vent, we might be able to get away from this maniac hiding in the shadows and save ourselves during the climax. Molly. Tippy, you're the first person to really open up to me after I joined the crew. Even though I kept messing up and getting into trouble, you were always there to stand up for me. When Marion would forget my name, you were always ready to give her a proper reminder. You're always looking after me, comforting me, protecting me. So this time, I want to protect you too. The librarian gives a gentle hug to her most precious friend in the whole crew. Once this is all over, we're totally gonna have a movie marathon at your place. 24 hours of non-stop screams paired with our favorite drinks and fried fin balls. I want to see what the house he grew up in looks like, and meet that sister you're always bragging about. Oh no! Oh, ear infections are so annoying. Just yike. I'm glad you recovered, because those are just annoying as heck. Sure. I'm terribly sorry to interrupt your little sorority huddle. Oh wow, Miss Rutherford? What brings you to the prop room? Where's your assistant? Didn't you receive Greta's notice on your terminals? She's already sent out compensation to everyone and officially disbanded the crew. Whether you're scared of the killer, worried about the catastrophe, or want to stay and finish the shoot, we're all free to do as we please. So naturally, it only took a blink of an eye for that spineless assistant of mine to run off God knows where. Do as we please? Don't tell me Miss Stone none of the crew even care about the real reason all these murders are happening? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And I don't see why you should either. Surely the reasonable thing to do is escape and leave that to the police? Or as Greta said, you can leave the truth to whoever feels like playing detective. So why'd you come looking for us, ma'am? I'm only here for you, Tippy, the background painter. Me? I admire Greta's gumption in wanting to film a catastrophe, and this is a fine opportunity for me as well, but films cannot rely solely on natural phenomena. I know you're more passionate about cinema than most, and you must have heard how important this project is to me. So I implore you, from the bottom of my heart, to put your talent in an ambience building and color matching to work, and paint the perfect backdrop for my grand finale. Wow. I mean, I totally love to, but... Go help her out, Tippy. Hey, Molly. What's in the raincoat? Are you really going exploring? Don't worry. I've been part of the prop team for ages now, and I know my way around the plate. I'll be fine. Remember what we were just talking about? This is something I need to do. Alright then. Once I'm done helping out with the backdrops, I'll come find you, promise. You may enter, Madam Stone. You know it was me before I even opened the door? Yes, I've been waiting for you. Your little investigation the other day forced me to reveal my plan of filming a real catastrophe to the whole crew. The timing couldn't have been worse. Abner and the rest of the crew were already unhappy with me, so I had to make some last-minute decisions, big decisions. If I wanted to, I could sue you for damages incurred by your act of industrial sabotage, Lucien. But I'm not going to punish my cast just to vent or assert my authority, especially when such actions would only complicate the situation. And then, more murders. The killer even stopped hiding their savagery, and everyone's losing their minds except you. You're the same as ever, cool as a cucumber, watching the crowd from a distance. I suppose I can thank this crisis for making it clear that you have other reasons to be here. But none of that's important right now. The crew's been disbanded, you can leave, or stay until the date specified in the contract. It's up to you. Your part in this is done anyway. Hardly. The moment you came to find me, you proved that my part in this is not yet done. I can't magic up some other Lady DuPont, or bring the 3 Rockefeller brothers back to life. We're running out of both time and manpower, so I need to figure out the best use of our limited resources. Lucien, I'd like you to be the lead for the rest of the film. In the middle of the night, the clackety-clack of a typing echoes through the office. A despondent Peril curls up in front of his typewriter. He glances at his latest manuscript and stubs a cigarette out on it. Ending. Lady DuPont needs to die in the ending. After she elopes with the second Rockefeller, they vanish from high society and live a poetic life out in the countryside. But Rockefeller's life of affluence left too much of a mark on him. He eventually shaves Lady DuPont on her empty family name and leaves her. In despair, she slits her own throat. Too realistic. And do they really have to be punished after leaving their extravagant lives behind? This takes place back when Colombia held wealth as its highest virtue. I'm just trying to recreate it and let the audience judge for themselves. The little cigarette burn grows, spreads, and swallows the whole paper up. Stephen takes a deep breath and blows away the ashes. Hello. In the end, Lady DuPont chooses none of the Rockefellers. She had only wanted to escape her false destiny through marriage, but underestimated how toxic love can be. The brothers, unbeknownst to each other, each plot their own revenge, and Lady DuPont is killed by 3 different schemes at the same time.
No, too lowbrow. Getting stuck in a quagmire of love, even after not choosing anyone, makes it sound like it's fated work. But it's really just slapping in a trope to patch up the gaps. The final shot of her body being pulverized into nothing would definitely be shocking, but the setup's just too crude. The DuPont's family's false claims of being descended from Victorian nobility are finally exposed to the public. No matter how deep the Rockefeller brothers' love for her is, they cannot shield her from punishment. The only time in her life that Lady DuPont is treated as true nobility is when the real DuPont family name demands the death penalty for her. It's too neat. All tied up with a bow to show off how deep and meaningful it is, but lacks any of the madness or romance a film called The Death of Lady DuPont should have.
I feel like Melanie's... She might be like the only innocent one, but she just... Well, since Lady DuPont needs to die in the ending, maybe it'll be fine. She could just die of old age. Just make it that.
Shh. Out of draft paper. Let me fetch some more from the filing cabinet. Whoa!
Steven slips on a wad of paper he threw to the ground earlier, falling flat on his back. Only now does he notice that the entire office is filled with discarded drafts. There's nowhere left for him to stand. He lies down amidst the aborted ideas, covering his face with his hands as he yells in frustration.
Get a Kubricking grip, Stephen Quay. You've been messed with the ending for 2 whole months now and don't even have a shitty half-baked scene to show for it. This is your baby. You wrote every damn line in the story. Don't tell me you don't even know how you want to write. If you need to suffer to make a classic, then this must be a goddamn masterpiece, right? You've got the time pressure of the shooting, the shock of hearing about filming a catastrophe, the fear of some maniac going around killing the crew. You got it all, man. What more could you want? God of inspiration, my ass. That was just some stupid excuse to get grit off your back. Your god ain't coming. You lost his fucking contact details. Who's there? Well, honestly, I don't care who you are, as long as you can help me figure out this ending.
I feel bad for him. That's his baby after all. And oh my goodness, these monsters. I love them. They are adorable. Ooh, how do I do this? You know, this is fine. For me, the most interesting usually ends up being like the beginning. But I'm left on a sour note if the ending isn't fun. And let's see how I want to do this. Miss Christine! Save the day, Miss Christine! Thank you, Miss Christine. Look at how helpful she is. Oh man, Miss Christine's too good for the world. Oh no, these guys are chaos. Uh-oh. Wait. There, that's fine. You go, Miss Christine. I'll count as her first. But we won't count Zaro. Heck, we won't even count Dolly.
I've come up with a few initial concepts for Lady DuPont's finale. You're an expert background painter and quite versatile too. I need you to help me put together the best possible scene. Here, these are a few materials I cobbled together. Have a look.
Wow, how'd you get all these art references and reference shots? Tint, ambience, design philosophy. You even labeled all the details of the buildings and how the lighting would reflect off different materials. How long have you been doing research for this scene, ma'am?
A few years at this point. Time is about the only thing I have these days. It takes a lot more than reading off the words of a script to make an excellent film.
Dirty Quay's not even done fixing up the script yet, and you've already come up with so many ideas for the ending.
The lad's certainly taken his sweet time with it, yes, but I believe that, both as the leading lady, the death of Lady DuPont, and its investor, I have an obligation to take responsibility for this film. As I said before, the revival of my career in Rankwood will begin once Lady DuPont gets a good, proper death.
Lupocar and Holiday, the portrait of Erin Dawes, the bridges of County March. These mood reference shots are all taken from films starring Marion Blake, aren't they?
Do you like her work? She retired long before you were born.
Yeah. Like, my dad really loves her films. Besides, the classics are classics for a reason, right?
Both her acting chops and taste in projects were impeccable.
It's kind of surprising to hear you say that. I could have sworn you hated her. Everyone's been comparing you guys for years.
Indeed, all those years.
It was a love-hate relationship.
Congratulations on winning your 8th Best Actress Award, Miss Blake.
Oh man, her. Time to head back to the Maylander Foundation.
Ever since you started your career, you've been at least nominated for an award practically every year. The industry sees you as an insurmountable mountain for fresh new talent to try and climb. Are there any particular up-and-comers you think we should keep an eye on? I appreciate the flattery, but I'm hardly an insurmountable mountain. I'm still climbing my way up myself. There are always plenty of new faces streaming into Rankwood, brimming with talent, and it's hard for me to pick any specific name. How about Melanie Rutherford? I tip my hat to you, Miss Blake. Today, I received the award for Best Supporting Actress 2 years slower than it took you. I've seen all your films. As a reporter friend here said, you really are a natural-born performer. The tallest peak in Rankwood, but only for now. Give me some time, and I will overcome you. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Wow. Melanie and Marianne are really duking out on the scene. Time to get the popcorn. They've been rivals for a while now, haven't they? It's like they're always racing to get the most awards. So why'd they agree to be in the same project? Shh, did you forget everything they taught you when you joined the crew, you rude little shit? Go apologize to Miss Rutherford right now. I'm really sorry. Let's not be too harsh on the fresh meat, Melanie. Our films are built upon rules. You've been in the industry longer than I have, Miss Blake. You must have experienced why they're so important firsthand. Courtesy towards a leading lady is something we've had to fight for, role by role, film by film. It's what allowed me, a young girl from the middle of nowhere, to stand in front of you today. And without rules, there'd be no standards. How else would we know which of us is the greatest film actress of all time? Which reminds me, I still haven't congratulated you for the Best Actress Award you got at Lithuanian Spire Film Festival a few days ago. It was just a small award ceremony. Meanwhile, your latest film swept every single major award in Rankwood again. I still haven't truly overcome you, Miss Blake. I would like to thank everyone for coming to this press conference regarding the Eternally Shining Star. We appreciate your care and concern during this difficult time. The rumors are true. Our film crew really did run into a catastrophe during our shoot. I was injured, and I'm still recovering now. Thankfully, we didn't return empty-handed.
we managed to hold on to some of our precious footage. Wow, so they also got catastrophe footage. But I believe this is heaven working in mysterious ways. It's trying to tell me that it's time for me to bid farewell to the silver screen. As both the lead actress of the eternally shining star and its investor, I'm hereby announcing that that neither the film nor my performance will be submitted for nomination for any awards. It will remain as one last gift from Marion Blake to her cinephile friends, and nothing more. I won't be leaving Rankwood immediately, of course, just moving on into more of a behind-the-scenes role for now. But I doubt I'll be content with that for long. I'm always eager to seek new opportunities to start a new chapter of my life as Jara Booker Wilson. Wow, she made her name change public too, huh? Oh, you're here too, Miss Rutherford. Can I request a quick interview? Your latest film will be releasing soon, and most were predicting that only you and Miss Blake would be in the running for this year's Best Actress at the Rankwood Awards. So how do you feel about the announcement of her sudden retirement, and the withdrawal of her new movie from the nominations? Does this mean I won? After Jara, Miss Blake retired from acting, you got all those roles as brand spokeswoman and lead actress, and even got invited to be on the judging panels for the big film festivals. But not long after, you suddenly left it all behind because some personal reasons. And when you came back last time, nothing was the same anymore. Her retirement gave me quite the shock, but I still believed I had won fairly through my own talent. I believed that I too could become an insurmountable mountain and a legend of the silver screen, one that outshone even her. But in the end, Rankwood's Best Actress Melanie Rutherford let it all go to her head, swayed by the endless praise of the critics, the flattery of the sponsors, and the applause of the audiences. Wealth and fame, alcohol and scandal, I lived an indecent life those few years. Yeah, tell me about it. Those tabloids have like zero respect for your privacy. But once I met you in person, I could tell. Maybe you made a few mistakes here and there, but your love for acting is the real deal. No need to console me, little library. No one's more acutely aware of my fallings than I am. Marion could switch from a hardened soldier to a poor servant girl and back again at the drop of a hat. A single dress rehearsal was all she needed to figure out the ideal lighting and positions. But if I were ever to take a single day off, spend 1 hour less studying the script, or arrive at the rehearsal 15 minutes late, my performance would fall into the gutter. A mere 2 years of living in indulgence was all it took for me to lose the skills I once picked up with ease. I disappointed both the directors and the fans. I had never realized just how many unending waves of new talent were looking up to me. I had never realized what the position in entertainment Marianne had fought so hard to defend actually meant. I thought I could afford to be like her and enjoy the double delights of cinema and life. I thought there'd be no harm in having a little fun after all those chasing and competing. It was only then that I finally realized Marion Blake was a truly infuriating genius. In every sense of the term. With her final film and the chance catastrophe, Marion received a revelation to retire from cinema, and all I could do was sigh. Even unknowable Mother Nature was on her side. But now that you're lead actress again, and you got a chance to win back everyone's trust. I mean, you're even getting to film it alongside a catastrophe too. You're right, I spent more than a decade piecing my self-confidence and acting skills back together. I could very well be but a single step away from the top again. Good has offered to give me a part of Lady DuPont couldn't have come at a better time, and now, even her grand ambitions have left me a special little gift. Come to think of it, the lady is a rather fitting role for me. Surely she knows her brother is lying to her. Surely she has doubted her last name once or twice. But no, she unconsciously clings to her glamorous life, refusing to accept the mediocrity of her birth. She prays desperately that she is special, that she is talented. I wonder, what sort of ending will she face amidst the storm? Miss Rutherford? Yes? We should watch some horror flicks together. Horror flicks? If you want to climb your way back to the top, you can't limit yourself to copying Miss Blake, right? Like you've always had pretty different styles of acting. We're gonna put together a finale more powerful and more than one in Lupicarn Holiday. And Lady DuPont's name will go down in cinema history.
Huh. Very well then.
Also, I'm sure you know what happened between you and Miss Blake better than I do, but I bet she meant it when she said that you'd surpass Marion Blake one day. She might still think so even now.
You might be right.
Aw. She's dedicated. Heck, she probably saw... Like, heck, yeah, of course, she doesn't hate Marion Blake at all. She loves and respects her.
Are you real, or just a figment of my imagination? Am I really being visited by the god of inspiration? Don't tell me I've gone crazy from working on this script.
Ah, the god of inspiration, huh?
Madness can transform ink on the page into sweet fruit, or allow a stiff mind to wander freely across the wilderness of time and space. You cower in the corner of a dark room, forced to chase a deadline even after witnessing a string of brutal murders. Yet, for all your soul-searching and brain-racking, you come up with only 3 endings for Lady DuPont. Hardly the work of a madman, no? I promised Greta that I have an ending that impressed everyone by tonight. The only people left are those insane enough to risk their lives for cinema. And they're waiting for me. But they bet on the wrong man. The realm of art only accepts natural-born geniuses, not some dried-up piece of crap slaving away at a typewriter. The death of Lady DuPont. You already have the most captivating ending for this story just from its title. Well, the shocking brilliance of her death will certainly fade after the film is copied reel after reel. But Rankwood, after all, is a factory hawking with fantasies all across Terra, is it not? You're a nation of liars, fooling even yourselves. Even the Colombian dream was born from a promotional film for the Pioneer Project, after all. Just to be clear, I care for neither political metaphors nor realities, only that you have deeply misunderstood the essence of performance. Drama can change lives, but it would never use such a mechanical way. But by setting death as Lady DuPont's ending, you show you still possess intuition for drama. Intuition? No. When I was a student, I hated dragging death into the stories I wrote. I thought of it as a cheap trick, only good for plugging up holes in the plot or squeezing the right emotions out of the audience. Actually talented writers could give a film a proper climax without it. Then what changed you? A shocking memory, or perhaps some phantom pain you cannot recall? I had the same problem 5 years ago when I was working with Greta on another project. She didn't mince words. She told me the back half of the script was too dull, and an audience would be falling asleep. If I didn't change it, it'd bomb at the box office. So I shut myself in my office just like I do now, pushing my mind to the brink of collapse but getting nothing out of it. And then Laura fell and died. An opportunity straight from heaven. The perfect plot device. Just as Greta expected, the rest of the film was panned by critics. But the scene alone became an overnight sensation, to the point that you started to see death as more than a cheap trick, rather, as the most sincere form of expression, brimming with artistry. Yeah. Seeing you had the chance to... seeing how you said you had that sudden realization. All that has happened on this plate should provide you with nourishment. A deathful shooting, a deadly explanation, bodies hanging from beams. With all this to inspire you, why not write them into your story, and let the same drama be performed both on and off the screen? Because they're still not good enough. Then what about turning away from those who already exhausted their possibilities? What do you mean? Who else in your story can ignite a spark in Lady DuPont's bosom? Who is distant enough from all the grudges and resentments, yet still able to bring about the most drama, as well as the best performances? The messenger. It's the messenger who brought the bad news. He's a very trigger for Lady DuPont's new fate. Vengeance or repentance, Lady Dupont has a new choice to make. At the same time, the messenger must contend with consequences of intervening in another's destiny. This is it. This is the ending I wanted. Lucien, yes. I'll have Lucien be the star of the final scene.
Lead actor and director.
You want me to become the lead actor? That's right. I can't say I understand you, but I have a feeling that even if I hadn't approached you, you would have come to me anyway. You're the most potential of any actor I've ever seen. The messenger doesn't have much screen time, but your performance added a complex and delicate core to the role that was originally a nothing burger. I'm sure that whatever your goal here is, you won't be leaving before the shoot ends. If so, then why not do me a favor and help me out with this? I'll give you time to think it over, of course. So far, it's just a thought I had, and I haven't spoken to Steven about it yet. He promised me that the finished script by tonight. But honestly, I'm not optimistic. If only that God of his knocked on his door. I see. Changing the focus to the messenger was the only way to steer the plot towards brilliance. I can already imagine the shock on everyone's faces when they read the new ending. Once I'm done with it, but I see you've added a lot of direction notes for his lines. Most of them are quite detailed. While you're giving me advice on my writing just now, you mentioned the quirks of Lucien's performances and where he likes to put pauses in dialogue. You even told me which angle suits him best for close-ups to capture his most subtle expressions, and what kind of lighting best highlights his unique character. It's like you've known him for a long, long time, maybe even taught him. So how did you know all these things about Lucien?
Being called out for his detailed notes, I love that.
You called for me, troop leader. Come with me, playwright. The final act is underway, and as always, the entirety of the audience is enraptured by the performance on stage.
I mean, it was bound to happen. Actor die. When you just click on it, it says that the director is Tragodia and the lead actor is Lucien, so it was bound to happen just based on that.
It's rare for the white flower to return to the stage. Will you not toast to her once the performance is over? What a blood diamond and abyss. They're merely supporting roles at this time. All their scenes have already concluded. The rotting stage mechanism has spread the blood of the magician's assistant and the chosen lucky audience member all over the stage. Their corpses have been stuffed into prop boxes, set afloat on the river to disappear forevermore. The magician herself completes her final show as she treads on a stage yet slick with blood. Blood Diamond and Abyss should have chiseled their way out of the boxes by now, and be on their way back to the stage for the curtain call alongside White Flower the magician. Should they now? And Hero was thinking those two children have turned performance into reality, disappearing forevermore. As I recall, this was a new scene you had yourself. You had half a year ago while revising the script. During a night you claim to have had a revelation. Leader, come with me, playwright. The show is far from over. He's my favorite leading man. He once left me, but in the end, we shall be reunited.
I'm excited to see the ending. '86, rewind the monologue. She dances, regardless of her ultimate fate. Her soul has experienced 100,000 lives. Oh, Miss Christine. A petite, Zelek gropes around in the darkness as she traverses a pitch-black plate layer. I see how it is. The structure and systems look complex, but once you figure out the theory behind it, even a prop maker can operate it. For example, here, just adjust its direction first. And then set a time, pull down the lever, open the gate, and done. Good, just like I thought. This way, I'll have nothing to worry about even if something unexpected happens. Now, there's just one last thing to do. I need to go find her.
I'm sure you have your reservations, Lucienne. The plate's in a crisis, and everybody's in danger. I wouldn't trust a cold-hearted producer who is demanding the shoot to go on either. We do not need to trust each other. Heh, you're not wrong. In my 20 years in Rankwood, I've never trusted a single person I've worked with. I trust only in my own judgment. I invited Melanie right when she was most needed an opportunity. I saw right away at that auction that you were an acting genius, and I was sure Abner would join the crew even though he hates my guts. I even still believe that Laura's death 5 years ago was the only way to save that movie. You had nothing to do with the accident, but you still made use of her death. She was a talented rookie, eager, hardworking, and full of passion for cinema. It's just that sometimes that enthusiasm got to her head and make her break a few rules. Steven was still green back then, and the shoot wasn't going as planned. Halfway through the project, I knew that the film would burn through all my assets and leave my reputation in tatters. I needed an external factor to help me solve that crisis. Laura's death. Using the media to hype up the accident would be too predictable. Those busybodies would just sigh and forget all about the moment they moved on. So I used a lot of money to squash the police investigation and the media's attention, along with a healthy amount of hush money to Laura's family. I got the editor to keep the footage of the fall that Abner captured on camera and turn it to the climax of the film. Even now, there's some people who still think that she was just an acting genius who retired early. You covered up her death. I immortalized her in film. Someone will eventually notice what you did. Every year, on the day of her sacrifice, I go visit her, 5 years, and I'm the only one who brings flowers to her grave. Do you not feel guilt? I'm certainly to blame for it, but now's not the time for repentance. Right now, there's only one thing on my mind: finishing this film. Once The Death of Lady DuPont is screening, the murders on set are bound to get the media's attention. I'll take the chance to officially release the truth behind Laura's death. When the time comes, there'll be a lot more people grieving for her, and that's when I'll bear the blame. I hope you realize that I didn't confess all that to you on a whim. You want to use the truth to make a deal. When I first met you, I thought it was fate throwing me a bone, dropping a big present on my lap before the shooting started. But it was your behavior after you joined the crew that proved to me that you are no ordinary man. Delton died right in front of you, but you kept your cool. You even looked forward to future filming. After you discovered my plans to film a catastrophe, you took the perfect opportunity to leak those plans to the camera assistant, most likely to spill them. And now, with the crew officially dismissed, almost everyone is feeling desperate. Except you. You're waiting in your room for me to visit, as if you're no stranger to sudden death and tragedy. Who are you exactly, and why did you agree to join my film crew? I was enticed by your script, no more and no less. Sure. The way things are now, interrogating you about your history isn't going to help my shoot, but I was hoping you would repay my honesty in kind. I still believe in my vision, Lucienne. No matter what I find out about you, no matter how suspicious, I'll never withdraw my invitation for you to be my male lead. But if you really can't explain why you're here, if you've got your sights on something way over my head, if you think Laura's death and everything it's caused 5 years down the line are the real story being filmed on this plate, and you're here for that, then I, Greta Stone, would like to invite you again. Please be our next leading man, Lucienne. If that is your wish, then it is mine as well, Madame Stone.
Greta, send out compensation to everyone and officially disband the crew. Whether you're scared of the killer, worried about the catastrophe, or want to stay and finish the shoot, we're all free to do as we please. Finish the shoot? Greta's still thinking about her movie right now. She must have noticed the connection between the murders of the crew and the one 5 years ago. So she's doing it on purpose. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And I don't see why you should either. Or as Greta said, you can leave the truth to whoever feels like playing detective. The truth? The cast and crew both mercilessly bully newcomers. The producer even massaged a tragic and fatal fall into a scene that straddles the line between truth and lie. If you will not repent for what happened 5 years ago, or make your deeds known to the public, do you believe yourself innocent, Greta? Have you forgotten how you edited Laura into your film? Also that she could die over and over again with every showing? You must pay the price. A bulge on the bed is faintly outlined by the dim nightlight. The person beneath the blanket is fast asleep, ignorant of the judgment about to fall upon her. Fast asleep? The desecrator of the dead, forgetter of sins, ignorer of warnings. How could Greta sleep so soundly? Someone quietly creeps over to the bed, pulling a razor-sharp dagger out of a sleeve. Slender fingers grip its hilt tightly, lifting the terrifying weapon high into the air. I don't even want to hear your confession. I don't want to hear your screams. Just go already. You must pay. This feeling, it's not right. The blanket is lifted up. There's nobody under it aside from a black shadow. A shadow? How could a shadow exist on its own? The intruder steps back a bit as the shadow slowly condenses into a familiar shape. Miss Christine? A trap.
So we finally meet. I welcome you, my elusive guest.
Is it really you?
Moira. The most dedicated member of the crew was actually a 3-time murderer.
It should have been 4. Moira! What the heck? When did you find out, Lucienne?
The first to notice your abnormal behavior was Miss Christine, not me. In that very first scene after I joined the cast, she intruded upon the shoot. She rarely approaches anyone other than me, but she approached you. Since then, she has made contact with you many times. To be believed that she decided to accompany you as you watched movies in the prop room because she likes the both of you. That is only half correct. Miss Christine was only ever interested in you. Look, even now, even as you hold that dreadful dagger, she still stands by your side.
Ridiculous. Don't tell me that's your only reason to suspect me. It's because this mysterious creature is fond of me. Or maybe she only does what you tell her to. She's your pet after all. Moira looks into Miss Christine's deep blue eyes. The very next moment, she no longer has conscious control of herself. Joy, sorrow, anger, all sorts of emotions roll through her heart before finally settling into a blank void, one that terrifies anyone looking upon it.
You continue to misunderstand her. As I've explained before, none may interfere with her intentions and actions. I do not merely mean that she is free spirited by nature, but rather, nobody has the ability to interfere with her. It is she who possesses the ability to influence others.
The mysterious black creature nonchalantly licks her paws. Moira finds it difficult to reconcile the Miss Christine she sees now with the enormous pressure she felt earlier.
Miss Christine is extremely sensitive to emotions. No carefully buried pain or flicker of malice escapes her notice. Over countless years, she has wandered across Altera, tasting the entire spectrum of feeling. Rather than any particular flavor, she prefers a blend. And her judgment is derived from instinct rather than logic. It is not error.
Solving a murder without even discovering a motive. Should I congratulate you?
Vengeance.
For who?
For the ghosts entangled in the minds of the majority of the crew. Madam Stone, the one who stands before you now is a relative of that rookie, actress Laura, who fell to her death 5 years ago.
Oh, Laura's a sister! Oh no!
One who loved her dearly, her little sister.
Oop. Well, it looks like the promise won't happen, unfortunately. Oh man, the poor promise. Like, after this is all over, let's go to your place. Only. Oh well. Oh gosh, my leg fell asleep already. It's okay though. It'll come back to life eventually. You go, Miss Christine. Miss Christine's too adorable. So elegant. Hello, hello. Yes, the Ark is knighting. This wonderful night. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, this is totally fine. I like this. All is well. Oops. I wanted to put her here, silly me. Oh man, I wonder how Tippy's gonna feel about her friend. Finding out that Mori was the real killer.
Mission accomplished.
So out of all the choices Miss Stone gave us after disbanding the crew, you chose to play Detective Lucian.
No need to bluff. I know you're not afraid of me exposing you. If we let more people know the truth behind Laura's death and the conduct of the film crew, you'd have gladly exposed yourself given the right opportunity.
But not right now.
It's over, Moira. You hid yourself well. A simple identity and an innocent facade were the ideal cover for you. During nearly all the murders, you were with Tippy. The painter trusts you deeply and was always happy to provide you an alibi, even as you left your meetings partway through. Looking back, every accident has involved you in some way. Downton's death was caused by a prop knife being switched, which led to the former prop master being dismissed. You naturally took over his work, which afforded you even greater opportunities for crime. As for the second accident,
When Shelley walked into the cold storage.
no, she has intended to kill her before that but failed. Do you remember how Shelley had a hallucination, interrupted the shoot, Madam Stone? While she was rooted in place, unable to move, a heavy container fell from above. You saved her. Moira single-handedly held onto the rope, preventing the two of you from being harmed. But it was not out of the kindness of her heart. At the time, everyone was focused on Shelley's antics. Very few people noticed the dangling container, let alone rush to the other end of the rope. Right. Only the one who tampered with the rope in the first place could have reacted that quickly. The failed attempt revealed to all that Shelley suffered from hallucinations, which she took advantage of.
I knew her deepest nightmares. She mistook me for my sister Laura and babbled all her sinful secrets to me. But even to the very end, she never repented. Instead, she began to blame Laura for crossing the line. She had to die.
As for Marion and Michael
only ever treated me as an innocent little errand girl. He never figured out that I was after his life, even entrusting me with the important matter of sneaking out of the plate. And Marianne? She never felt the slightest guilt for what happened 5 years ago. She had to die. Escape? Nobody can escape. Do you know just how much suffering and malice my sister had to endure? Yet all she ever talked about was how much experience she was getting, and how happy she was to be part of the cast. Whenever I was worried I wouldn't make it as a prop maker, whenever I silently shed tears as the crew ostracized me, she would use herself as an example to comfort me, to encourage me. Hello, hello? But it was only after she died that I learned what that experience you gave her really was. How dare you look at me like that, Greta? Are you doubting what I just said? Surely you haven't forgotten how you bribed the police and the media and suppressed the news of Laura's death. You even turned her accident into a mockery of the truth in a movie. How could she possibly rest in peace after that?
No, Moira. Madame Stone has not forgotten her deeds. Rather, she is doubting your identity.
My identity? A prop maker, an unremarkable Zalek, an avenger of crimes unanswered.
Laura had no younger sister.
Oh, the plot thickens even more.
She was never part of your life.
What are you saying? What kind of interrogation is this?
5 years ago, after the accident, I gave Laura's family compensation. I even hired people to scour her entire family history and their circumstances. Also, I could guarantee none of them would leak the truth, not even her most distant relatives. After Lucien told me the truth he deduced, I was still in disbelief, so I pulled out the list of Laura's family members and checked it again. I regret to inform you, there was no Moira on that list.
You're lying.
I can explain everything that has happened to you, but you will need time to accept it. So put down the dagger, Moira. It should not be yours.
Put it down? It's far too late for that.
What was that? What's the sudden earthquake? Somebody save me! Did the plate hit something?
If I'd known this was coming, I'd have skedaddled out of this place already. What the hell's going on here? Crew members stream out of their rooms into the crowded corridor, none with the slightest idea what's happening. Lucian's shadow passes by a bevy of curses, complaints, laments, and prayers before arriving at the end of the corridor. He looks out the window. Hey guys, doesn't it feel like the plate is speeding up? Moira locks the door. She does not know if the man named Lucian will catch up to her, or how long it would take. The room shakes violently, letting her know that the sabotage she performed had taken effect. The cockpit is destroyed, the engine's output is locked into its highest setting, and the route is set. The studio plate speeds up as it approaches a nearby catastrophe, and shows no signs of it stopping. In a few hours, they will find themselves with the misfortune of facing a storm, no, a trial. The vast majority of the cast and crew had to answer for the accident 5 years ago. For the death of her sister.
Laura had no younger sister. She was never part of your life.
What was he talking about? Moira mumbles to herself incessantly. She sifts through the piles of junk in the prop room and finds an old VCR. She sets it up and pulls out a videotape from one of her inner pockets. A videotape she has watched countless times. She presses down on the play button. The smile of a young woman appears on the screen. Laura, my sister, you're real. Tell me you're real. I know whenever you laughed, there was a dimple in only your left cheek. You had big eyes with light green irises. They were always so gentle when you looked at me. You could peel an entire apple without breaking its skin in 30 seconds. Whenever you're happy, you whistle a big, strong, fleet. Use arts to make small ice crystals to use as hair clips. You tell me about your life in Rankwood, how your very first role got edited down to only 3 seconds of screen time in the final cut. You tell me about how much you struggled just to get a few more scenes. Well, if you assholes talked about you behind your back, most of the crew still looked after you. You told me how, even though you came from a small town where you couldn't even buy a VCR, even though you had to learn a lot of things from scratch, even the opportunities that are easy for others to get are far out of reach for us. we still shouldn't be discouraged. You never mentioned how much bullying you had to suffer, through. How much pain you endured. You would go on and on about how beautiful the sunrise in Rankwood was, looking towards the future with such firm eyes. You also had times when you were sad, even though you only ever mentioned how homesick you felt that night. When all was quiet and the only ones kept you company were the twin moons low in the sky. You told me how alike we were, and how you had my back and would support me forever. Ever since we were little... Moira suddenly stops. She shakes her head like mad, trying to force more details out of her memory. But she can say no more. She finds her memories of Laura have been unusually distinct cutoff points. They'd never run through the grass together, hand in hand. They'd never fallen asleep in each other's arms as their parents sang to them. As she trawls further back through her memories, every image to do with her sister is simply blank. Oops. The videotape ends, the television screen goes dark. Moira sees her own face reflected in it. Tears silently stream down her cheek. You were never a part of Laura's life. Laura was never a part of yours. But if that's really true, then what do you even have left, Moira? Who are you? You're Tippy's friend. First the serial murders, and now the morning's mysterious explosion. The hell's going on here? That is the ultimate Delulu. Why is the wind so strong? Oh right, according to the schedule, today's the day we're filming the catastrophe. Autumn stands in the street of the exterior set. Thanks to the nearby storm, the once colorful background walls are covered in a layer of dust. She never expected to experience so many twists and turns after joining the film crew. She's only ever thought about making movies. As for actually being in one, she can't stand the idea of it. That's the catastrophe Miss Stone wants to film. Earlier, the catastrophe everyone was making such a fuss about had simply been a faint gray dot in the wastes. Now, it is condensed into a storm that blots out the sky. A storm that refuses to allow onlookers to tear their gazes away from it. Small-scale spirals of wind formed from iridium dust circle on the plate, visible to the naked eye. I gotta say, it really is a spectacular spectacular sight. If you saw a scene like this in a movie theater, please, Tara, bless us. I've had such bad luck. Please just let us finish filming safely. No, who cares about the shoot? A safe return to Central Rankwood is good enough for me. Please. The play responds to Houghton's prayer with an even more unusual than earlier sound and shaking. Whoa, what the Hitchcock was that? Houghton has wondered many times before, if she were actually in the middle of a catastrophe, what would she hear? The howling of the wind, the roaring of explosions, the shrieking of the panicked crowd? Turns out it is none of those. It's the sound of walls and metal structures being squashed as flat as an empty can, one after the other. It is a sound that instills extreme terror in oh so fragile humans, who begin to worry their organs, bones, and blood vessels will suffer a similar fate. Considering how terrifying catastrophes are. Dang though. Lin Yuxia versus the catastrophe. Very, 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 very impressive. The turbulent sky licks against the edge of the plate, tearing sets that once starred in classic movies to shreds with the wind before flinging them out into the wasteland. Houghton moves aside the scaffolding that had fallen on her, but finds her legs too weak to muster the strength to move. She looks at the devastation in a daze, barely able to believe her eyes. My god, how did we really get so close to the catastrophe? This poor stagehand. Truly unlucky. 87 Blood Diamond Song. I cannot hold back any longer.
Well, that was simple. What the? This is Greta's plan for the shoot. The Originium storm's right in our faces. What are we, some sort of suicide squad?
No, no way. This has to be the killer's doing, right? Didn't you hear that explosion earlier? Someone blew up the plate's cockpit. There's no way we can slow the plate down or change directions now. Right now, we're only barely in contact with the storm, but once we hit its core, they're not gonna find even a single brick from this plate. Sub.
Alright, enough. So who in Terra was it? The revenge wasn't enough for them, so now they're going to take it out on the rest of us too?
The murderer is Moira of the prop team.
What? Who's talking?
They also had Ling.
I said, the killer responsible for the 3 murders is Moira.
Moira? You're kidding me? That unremarkable Zalek?
Miss Stone caught her red-handed. If Lucien weren't there, she would have become the next victim. So, where's that little rat now? I'll go find her myself. And what's the point of confronting a psycho killer when you can't even save yourself? She owes us an explanation. What if she gets innocents killed? You'd think I haven't thought of that. I re-switched the wireless comms to broadcast mode to ensure that I survive this. I'm sure everyone outside the plate has heard the truth by now. The killer's trapped like a rat. I have to live. I have to. Once I get back to Central Rankwood, all the bombshells I've collected these past few days will be enough to buy me a villa in Siesta.
This guy's motivation.
Shit. The plate's tilting towards the Originium storm again.
Right, the land boats. We can use them to escape.
They're gone. What? I went over to the emergency escape cabin earlier, and they were already wrecked by the storm. Every last one of them.
There's no way out for us now. If I'm going to die anyway, I might as well take the chance and jump off the plate.
Cut that shit out. Just move. Anywhere safer than the film set. Let's go hide underground in the engine layer. There truly are so many things to learn from the set design of a horror film. Thank you, Tippy.
No problem. I had to get back and start making the visualizations for most of the visual effects first, and then we'll finalize the details after the director Quay is done with the script. Like I promised, I'm going to design you a finale that'll lead Lady DuPont in the cinema history.
Right, I'm looking forward to it.
Wait, how long have we been talking about this? Did Molly ever find a way to escape? What now?
That's not good.
Wait, there's a voice in the comms.
Catastrophe. Psst. Whole cabin destroyed.
Why is the signal so bad? It sounded like Abner's assistant. What kind of trouble is he getting into now?
The control cabin has been destroyed. The plate is rushing towards a catastrophe. Killer is Moira.
Tippy grips the wireless walkie-talkie and turns the volume knob as high as she can, but it stays silent. She must have misheard, she thinks. But if so, why is Miss Rutherford looking at her with such a sullen expression? No, there's no way.
Tippy, I can't imagine anyone would joke about that in these circumstances.
But when would she have had the opportunity? The nights when Shelley, Michael, and Marion died, she was watching movies with me the whole time. Was there really no opportunity? Tippy doubts her own mind. Was Molly really right next to her the whole time during their movie nights? No. We always watched multiple movies back to back, so sometimes she'd leave when I was switching out the tape. Sometimes she'd say Miss Stone was looking for her. Sometimes it was to pick up something she forgot on the film set. I'm sure you know how she's like, ma'am. She's still new to being the prop master and under, like, a ton of pressure. But she's super committed to her work.
Darling.
No. That only explains how she could have done it. It doesn't prove that she did. A motive. Why would she kill all those people she had nothing to do with? Why don't I know anything?
Darling, maybe you don't know. Maybe you didn't know your friend as well as you thought you did.
Let's just focus on the movie. Stop looking away from the screen. Sorry. There's been so much going on with the film crew lately. I'm a little nervous. Don't worry, I'm here for you, girl. No matter who I am, one thing's for sure. I'm your best friend on this crew. Or maybe she never even thought of me as a friend. Maybe she was just using me. The library girl's head sinks. She speaks no more. Melanie hugs the little librarian in front of her. The girl who was consoling her just a few hours ago is now crying on her shoulder. Melanie pats her back. She asks no questions, nor does she say anything about the price of growing up. She only hugs her. Oh, that's sweet of Melanie. I hope Melanie lives.
Let's just leave this place first, Tippy. The convoluted structure here will only put us in danger if the plate gets too close to the catastrophe core. We'll be safer underground, though that too may be futile if the plate doesn't change direction.
Underground. Over Melanie's shoulders, Tippy spots some of the material they salvaged from the horror film earlier. Underground. The words circle around her brain. Wait, I got it.
What? You recovered your pep already?
No, I figured out how to change the plate's trajectory. There was once a crew that snuck into another Rankwood plate to film secretly. To save on rental costs, they ended up with a super cool scary movie. I rewatched it recently. But that plate and the one we're standing on both came from the same batch made by Rankwood. So basically, the spec should be pretty much the same. If my hunch is right, there should be another control cabin at the bottom of the engine layer.
What are the odds of making it there?
To be honest, no idea. But never tell me the odds, I gotta try. There's no point mulling over something I can't answer on my own, only when we're out of this crisis. Will I be able to get the truth from her? You go, Tippy. Gentle singing. Cheerful whistling. So this is where you were, Lucienne. That was my sister's favorite song. On breaks between shooting, she'd often look to the sky and hum the tune.
I thought you'd already woken up.
I did. Thanks to you, you showed me the truth I was blind to, and how cruel they truly were.
Then what are you doing now?
A rumbling comes from beneath their feet. The Rankwood plate rushes towards a catastrophe as the crew panics. No one thinks to enter the prop room now, when they should be escaping. But it's at this very moment that the prop master gets to work. She goes around the room, fiddling with one mannequin after another, dressing them in clothes, correcting their postures. Her earnest focus is fully on them. I only just remembered how I recognized Laura.
If you allow me a guess, you met someone.
Yes, a very gentle feline. The weather was terrible that day. I was sitting on a bench for a long time, and there was water in my face, probably rain, but maybe tears. The accident was caused by the negligence of the person in charge, but in the end, I was the only one who had to pay compensation and was kicked off the crew. I didn't know anyone in Rankwood, so I was no stranger to being treated like that. I ran away from home, you know. After my parents died, there was nowhere else for me to go. Nowhere else to go. So the only thing left for me was...
Death.
Then the person sat next to me. We didn't talk the entire time. He only gently waved for me to calm down. But when he left, I realized a cassette tape was sitting on my knee. That man brought Laura into my life at a time when there was only darkness. She became my sister. She protected me, encouraged me, and helped me pull myself together.
Laura was already long dead by then. Her background, experiences, and even appearance all resembled yours. The man gave you motivation when you were at your lowest, as well as anger, confusion, and a deep-rooted thirst for vengeance. No doubt, there was no better than before.
Was it grief myself flashed through your eyes, or pity? No, that's not it either. More like understanding, sympathy. Did something similar happen to you? Do you know him?
Of course. He's an expert at grafting non-existent joy and anger into your life. Much like how an unscrupulous director adds extra elements as he pleases to the story he deems dull. Oh, I suppose you would call it ad-libbing in the film industry. He pulls you from one pit of despair while guiding you to another, thus inciting the so-called beauty of drama. He's an old acquaintance, my teacher, the source of all my suffering, and a phantom that should be long dead. Finding you, finding him, is the very reason I came here. Moira, I'm sorry for denying all that you have.
No, it's not like that. Moira finishes arranging her last mannequin and returns to the center of the prop room. She does a curtsy in Lucian's direction and lightly taps her fingertips. Lucian then realizes something has changed and looks over to see that every mannequin has come alive. I don't think you denied me. In my worst hour, Laura appeared at my side and has accompanied me for a long time now. She's my sister, as I am hers. I don't regret avenging her. I don't regret shouldering all these sins. I will also be the last person in this land to remember her. I cry, I laugh, I rage, I doubt, I hate, I grieve, I yearn. And thus I have them. These intense feelings I would never have had otherwise. I'm alive. The mannequins begin to move. Lucian recognizes who they are modeled after: the deceased Dalton, Shelley, Michael, Marian, and also Moira herself. Moira stretches out her hand and holds her mannequins' hands one by one as they move past her. No music except the trembling ground accompanies their movements, but the tiny Zalek prop master seems to have become the most passionate dancer on the land as she embraces her myriad. Strange yet elegant. I should be thanking you, Lucian. You helped me realize that when there was nothing left of Moira anymore, I felt as if I became a mirror, and that I could become anyone.
Wake up. Satisfaction born from despair is nothing but poison.
It seems like this either the troop leader's arts or the playwright. But then again, never mind, it wouldn't be him. Definitely troop leader in that case. I've never been more awake in my entire life. Would you also like to become my dance partner? Just like them. As Moira finishes speaking, her dance partners throw themselves at Lucian. Horror movie style. Moira, Moira, Moira. Like, come on, you have Tippy now. No! Okay, dude hits way too hard. I don't like that. The cassette tape flying in slow motion is so funny. Oh, okay, now it's fast motion. I gotta get someone else out. Sooner than later. Oop. This is not the ideal placement, but it's okay. I can always change it up. No, don't kill me! Aw. Well, too late. My beautiful healer! How freaking dare you! This is fine so far. Miss Christine to the rescue. I think that's what I wanted. Middle should be there. Save us, Miss Christine! Look at her doing her best. Hey, Lappy. This is fine. The arts must have been kind of nice for her, though. Gave her some hope for a bit. For a bit. Don't mind me hydrating. Being good for once in my life. A for hydration. Chill, Tippy. Chill. Deep breaths. Remember how the plot went in that movie? The heroine had her friend pick up a weapon and hide in the storage room to the left, while she herself ran the other way. Storage room. Alright, the route matches up. Down we go. It's kind of dark in here. Well, dark is good. There should be a hidden door around the corner. Straight ahead. At the end of the corridor, there should be a backup control cabin. She knew all the mannequins chasing down the squad where her friends work. The whole squad pointed their fingers at her friend, and she was mad too. Gotta get moving.
What are you doing here, Tippy?
I figured out how to change the play's trajectory. We can avoid any more casualties, so let me through ASAP.
There's a way out of this.
Don't listen to her lies. Isn't she the culprit's best friend? She could have been covering up for her this whole time. How else could we have missed all this happening right under our noses? Right up until we were about to die. She tries not to think about her friend's betrayal, even though she still has things to say. She ignores the crowd mocking her. They're only attacking her to protect themselves.
It was you. The one always hiding in the back. First you interrupt the shooting. Now you're preventing us from going home.
She wants to save everyone, including her friend. She wants answers.
Stop her. Don't let her through. Ah, my eyes!
Tippy grabs a spray gun from her belt and glares at the fearsome weapon-wielding crew. You leave me no other choice.
Are you guys afraid of one girl? Get her!
The murder is a catastrophe. The film crew was already on edge from having to hide in the engine layer, so the spray painter's behavior only rouses their pent-up anger. Their self-defense weapons scrape the floor as everyone rushes towards Tippy. Their hands are trembling. There's no way she can take them all alone, and she prays the hover unit on her back will work. Her final trump card. It'd be funny if Phantom's the only one his art doesn't work on. A black creature shows up at the corner of the corridor. Hello, Miss Christine. It is as if the noise draws her here, but also as if she's merely passing by. No one notices her as they rush by, their heads filled with all sorts of extreme emotions. Miss Christine takes a sniff, and the rushing crowd slows down in her eyes until they freeze in place. Anger, extremely spicy. Without a little sour envy to balance it out, it tastes a bit off. Panic, bitter and hard to keep down, but a little dash of sweet comfort will turn it into a nice dessert. Grief, a salty mix of tears and sighs that brings unnecessary trouble, if too much is added, must be carefully paired with other flavors. Pain, the most complex and ever-changing emotion. It used to be my favorite, but after meeting Lucian, the pain of ordinary people is almost flavorless to me. Well, there's another one over there. She seems to be that little Zalek's friend. At first I only took notice of that girl who seemed so similar to Lucian, the lead actress, that the man chose for his latest play, yet I didn't expect your ties to make you even tastier than her. Miss Christine shakes her tails, her eyes moving between shadows on the ground until they lock onto Tippy's silhouette. The lady's twin tails twist into strange shapes, as if a woman is wiping her knife and fork before diving into her meal. Shakes tails, licks paws after a meal. I ought to gift you a small reward. The lady glances at the crowd rushing towards the library. A little exercise to aid digestion after her meal, she thinks.
Why am I here?
The catastrophe's about to hit us, so we came down here to hide from it. But what's with the wrench in my hand? Thunk. Weapons fall from their hands in succession, as the resulting harsh clangs wake up even more from their delirium. They exchange looks of confusion, not knowing why they were all holding weapons, but they do know that they should leave. Miss Christine? Miss Christine? What are you doing here? How come they're leaving? When they were rushing towards me, I suddenly felt my whole body go cold. Lots of different feelings woken up in me at the same time, like they were fighting. But then a breeze blew by, I heard their weapons drop, and my body thawed out too. Like some kind of irresistible force pulled something out of me. Miss Christine tilts her head. She taps her tails twice on the floor, successfully attracting the girl's attention, then points in a direction. They're right in front of the control cabin. Phantom seems like he'd been like just cool as a cucumber even in the manga, so maybe not. The closest thing for a fragile state of mind was when he was like, I need to perfect my acting, what do I do? Like, I know what to do. Stabs throat. This place is older than I thought it'd be. Wow, the devices here are all previous gen stuff. That's good news for us, since they're all sealed off to prevent dust and corrosion, and there's no smart locks on anything. Even I find it pretty tough to learn to hack on the spot. Let me see. The star is moving faster than the plate, so just reversing is a no-go. Turning is the best way out. But trying to change direction, then when the plate's already so close to the catastrophe, no, I can't worry about that. Where's the backup navigational system? Here it is. First, open the lock. Great, I'm in. Then, Tippy takes a deep breath and hopes she remembers the steps right. Pull the lever all the way down. Bang. Tippy is thrown against the wall by a huge force. The entire engine layer shakes, with all sorts of strange mechanical noises ringing throughout the tiny space. That was the plate's waist jerking around, with every segment of the threads below now trying to respond to the change. The steel giant under her feet is now fighting its own immense and unstoppable inertia by steering sideways, trying to avoid the storm right up ahead. Tippy feels her teeth ache. She does not know if it will manage to turn in time, or how long it will take. All she can do is pray. Even a little shift will do. We'll have a tiny chance as long as we don't hit the storm's core. It has to work. It has to work. I have to see her one more time. Miss Christine shakes her tails, jumping in front of the little library to smell the changes in her mood. A brief relief after achieving her goal, along with confusion and pain from a friend's betrayal. But why is there also a hint of suppressed madness? No, that smell does not belong to the girl. Miss Christine jerks her head up, looking towards a place she cannot see, a companion who has been with her the whole time. Lucian feels sympathy towards the other person, which means he is currently experiencing twice the pain. Miss Christine is somewhat displeased. She cannot help but recall the night when the Crimson Troop was destroyed, as Lucien sang under the name Blood Diamond. It is no good omen. How are you so calm, Lucien? Are you disappointed, unmoved by what I've done? A mannequin pounces on him. While as an inanimate object, Lucien feels a strong depressive aura that suddenly turns into elation and ecstasy. As Lucien touches the mannequin, the emotions turn into energy, forcing him backwards. Dalton. There's no doubt these are the feelings Dalton has had before his final rehearsal. Why don't you fight back? Do you even have that little... Do you have that little interest in me, babe? But ever since you played the part of the messenger and spoke those lines about fate, I haven't been able to take my eyes off you.
Michael.
The mannequin passes on Moira's emotions as she turns to Michael. The excessive yet artificial man who always wore his heart on his sleeve. What kind of emotions are you hiding inside yourself? You let me feel fear and danger, so much danger.
Shelley.
Shelley, in the final moments of her life, the neurotic coordinator was completely wrecked by her own fear.
Turning emotions into tangible energy, and any object that passes through your hands becomes a medium to release it. So these are your originium arts. I see why he chose you, why he led you to become what you are now. A prop master, strings, puppets, all images born just for the stage. When you forget yourself, a person becomes a play.
Come, join in our performance, Lucien. If you're right, and that man roused my abilities, then as his real student, you'll make the best dance partner. Moira laughs and cries loudly. 1,000 expressions flash across her face, filling the prop room with a suffocating energy. There's nowhere for Lucien to run.
Fine.
What?
Moira, I will sing for you, as you wish. The Blood Diamond song is a kind of misfortune, for both himself and the audience. It will rip my throat apart, sending pain straight into your ears, and you will either die or spend the rest of your life with its melody reverberating in your mind. If you willingly ignore the truth in your hands, if you're satisfied by such falsehoods, if you can only approach him by destroying yourself, then allow me to relieve your pain and enter the stage once more.
What a painful song! Moira hears a song. The emotions within flood into her, overwhelming even the song itself. She does not understand what Lucien is singing about. She only feels joy, fear, doubt, rage, hatred, and sorrow, 100 times stronger than her own. Before she is completely washed away by emotions, she cannot help but think. What sort of experiences must one go through to understand such revelations? Or is he simply forced to learn it all within despair of having nothing at all? I feel bad for Moira. Troop leader, Windflower is still waiting for us for the curtain call. Why have we come here? This is just a river. There's nothing here at this time of night.
I'm afraid White Flower will be upset by tonight's sparse audience. For this river here is the final stage. Tell them, playwright. What does the revised ending look like? The magician's assistant and the lucky audience member who both died on stage are stuffed into prop boxes and thrown into the river. Once the dust settles, they will wake up and emerge from the river under the stars. They use their story deaths to distance themselves from their prison of nightmares.
That's Blood Diamond and Abyss? Wait, didn't they return to the castle already? Why would they be here? Are they running away?
It seems their travel plans have been interrupted, Abyss. What? How? The magician's assistant and the lucky audience member came back to life. Now this is true magic. With this crowd looking on, it would seem he's a fan of this new improvised ending. Let's go back. He's waiting for us. Go back? We can still run, Lucien. Come with me. The river is wide enough, and it's far enough away. If you choose to flee now, he'll let you go. But fear will seep into your bones and torment you for the rest of your life. I'll go back to him, learn all of his skills, uncover all of his secrets, and then destroy it all. For such is my wretched fate. Fate. Are you sure it's not just proof that you become entranced with the troupe with him once more? If this is the pain and despair he's given me, then I'll become his fate. Somehow, you always understand him and his twisted aesthetics. You never listen to me, or maybe you never really want to escape. You spent far too long trapped in this nightmare. Fine then. I hope the Crimson Troope's Blood Diamond will grant a former friend one last favor. Don't chase me. Don't come after me. Let us part here, friend. We'll meet once again once this all falls to ruin.
Hi, Miss Christine. At some point, the black creature appears inside the prop room, nimbly avoiding Moira's body as she goes over to Lucien. With his knees bent halfway, and surrounded by mannequin parts scattered all over the ground, for once, Lucien doesn't perform the gesture of a proper gentleman's salute to her. The lady is even more displeased by his actions. You haven't sung in a long time, Lucien.
Apologies, Miss Christine. Did you hurry here as soon as you could?
Licks tails without comment. What a terrible scent. This salad compelled you to use your arts, as well as the skills you were so determined to abandon. You do know what sort of situation you've put yourself into, yes? Chaotic, disorderly, uncontrollable. Like a ball of unruly yarn I've yet to sort out. And you wish to face him, even end him, as you are now?
That is why I've come here, Miss Christine. When I stood up from the river as Shalom continued to sink below, my mind was already made. This is the performance I repeat the most. I cannot refuse, nor do I want to. Not until the true end comes.
Fine. Perhaps you'll become a monster. Listen, Lucien. Lucien stays still and does not look up. The lady sighs and her azure eyes light up like never before. She shakes her tails and her body splits into two identical figures. One walks into Lucien's shadow, while the other remains sitting before him, staring. Both Miss Christine speak in a staggered pattern, like a strange duet. This way, she ensures Lucien will hear every word she says. To be honest, I much prefer Phantom. It implies nothing good, but is a name you came up with yourself. Humans are so troublesome sometimes. I miss the cafe where we met. Your emotions were much more complex and slovenly than they are now. But still, far better than today. The bitterness of your obsession is making me want to sneeze. Go, meet him if you must. If you turn into a madman, I will devour all your emotions, no matter how hard they may be to swallow. If you cease to exist, I will haunt him, and figure out a way to make his life miserable. After all, he can't do a thing to me. Break a leg, Phantom. Meow. Wow, it's so nice of Miss Christine. I love that, though. If you fail in your mission, I'm gonna troll him for the rest of his life.
Hurry, hurry! Let me to the underground passage.
Hey, did the storm blast your eyes blind? Do you have any idea how long I've been in this queue? Why, I'll teach you a lesson.
No pushing or shoving, people. The passage can only fit two at a time. So don't clog up the entrance and leave space for those behind you. There's still time to get everyone in.
Miss Stone, the plate's western paths and outer guardrails have been destroyed by the storm. If this keeps up, we won't be able to hold out for long even in the engine layer.
I sent people to move supplies in. If we can survive this calamity... No, I'm sure we'll make it through. Miss Rutherford, you should hurry inside. The storm will tear your dress into shreds. So this is the wind she felt. Huh? What did you say? Nothing. Didn't you go looking for Tip to discuss the background earlier? The backdrop earlier? Where is she? She seemed to have figured something out and took off. I couldn't catch up to her. And we're supposed to be the adults. In the face of a catastrophe, not one of us is as cool-headed and brave as her. Because she doesn't know what fear is yet. Only by experiencing it, hoping through it, and getting crushed by it, will she understand how idealistic it is to keep going. Is it not the difficulty and charm of film production itself? Don't tell me you want to finish shooting this damn movie even now. The show must go on. Miss Stone, the suppliers are underground by now. Are underground now, and most of the crew too. Thank you, Houghton. You should hurry down yourself. Is there anything else? I asked around, no one's seen the director ever since we started approaching the storm. A stagehand in charge of the west side told me earlier that the catastrophe destroyed not just the guardrails, but some buildings too. That's where Steven's studio is. Come on, Steven, be fine. The storm showers originium dust all over the exquisite, dream-creating backdrops in an instant. Only the blackened skeletons of a dozen sets remain, slanted support scattered all over the plate. Like a cage crushed into pieces. Lucian pays closer attention to the wind, and it brings more voices. Shouts and sobs, scolding and cursing, sincere prayers and subconscious wailing. The hands of fate and the play staged by nature will not allow everyone time to take their positions. Lucian walks into the ruins. He sees a figure that absolutely could not have showed up right here, right now. The catastrophe shows no respect for the dreams crafted by man, and the storm has removed Lady DuPont's manor from the scene, leaving only a grand staircase in its wake. Thick clouds lie low, but the stage lights still shine into the steps from afar, turning the ruins into a stage. A middle-aged man slowly walks up the stairs. He tugs on a curtain torn apart by the storm, trying to restore its neatness and beauty. Finally, his efforts pay off as the dirt and dust fall off the cloth, revealing its original shade of red. He grips the bottle in hand as usual, but is not at all a listless drunkard. He checks the stage right before the show begins. There is no one more dedicated to his work than him. Your habits haven't changed. Do you require assistance? It's almost time, Lucian. You came at a perfect moment. I know. Not surprised? Should I be? Of course you wouldn't. There's no way for a character who was bowed out with a real death to return to the stage. But this is your play, where all sorts of miracles occur. This is where the show begins, where it should end as well. The playwright might remark on how ingeniously this play has been handled. Or perhaps he would muse on how perfect it all is. Because once you push aside all the theatricality, this is what I look like when officially collaborating with you again after so many years. So many years apart. How's Abyss doing? Oh, my apologies. You're more inclined to call him Shalem, I believe. Traveling, gathering inspiration, disaster relief. In short, he won't be showing up here. Of course, the Crimson Troop has long since ceased to exist. I'm glad to see the both of you walk out from its haze. A new role, a new life, a new home. I see the company known as Rose Island has provided you many revelation. But you? Why have you come here, child? Should I not have? No, you are a most important individual now, as the curtains are about to fall in this new play. I'm already on the stage, after all. Of course. The marvelous scene we saw at the opening of the show was all thanks to you and him. Dalton personally handed you the weapon that would kill them, and his death raised the curtains of the story, and you witnessed it all through his eyes. Lucien, surely you felt something was off the moment you held the knife. Well, I was relieved to confirm it. I'm also curious, why exactly did you swing that blade with zero hesitation? Once an actor takes the stage, anything unexpected must become a part of the performance. Your lessons have been engraved into my mind, and nothing more. Troop leader.
And there he is in all his beauty.
Long time no see, Lucien.
I want to see how the film turns out. So time to finish the film, maybe? Take a bow. Lucien. My blood diamond, my child. Take the stage with me. Bow for the curtain call, and let us live a new life together. No. Rejected. No new life together. Stinky troop leader.
My deepest apologies for ruining the play. If you're referring to how you dealt with that Moira girl, then you owe me no apologies, Lucien. With your intellect, I can only assume you figured out the original ending of the story. An old case from 5 years ago, and a catastrophe that arrives right on cue, while the storm and the delayed judgment rain down on this plate. The Zalek, who once stood outside the story, slowly walks to the center of the stage and kills all those burdened with sin. Later, she comes to realize that everything she's done has been driven by delusion. She awakens hollowed out, broken, and judges the last remaining soul. Herself. And you? In the script, you're the messenger who happens to pass through, the insignificant newcomer to the cast. You're so far removed from the core conflict, yet in the end, you become the one who ties all the threads together. The more unexpected the coincidence, the more shocking it is when the inevitable unfolds. That is the allure. This is the allure of drama, something you and I have experienced countless times. So you haven't ruined a thing. You've merely added to the performance. Just like what you've done for the troupe. I've suffered all manner of tragedy in my quest to find you. Ha, naturally. The troupe's mark at the auction was insufficient proof of my existence, I suppose. Thankfully. After all these years, death or rather destruction remains the plot device you wield so well, the ending you so cherish. Child, oh child, how I wish you could appreciate its beauty. Do I? I wouldn't say I appreciate it, but I'm familiar with it, very familiar with it. I've acted in so many plays, I've killed so many people. My hands are drenched with blood. That is the education and training I received in my childhood, the life you instilled in me. You're my best student, Lucien. Before the climactic finale arrives, let us review the performance so far. You and I know this routine all too well.
The troop leader smiles and bows towards Lucien. His scepter, wrapped by his tail, points toward the approaching catastrophe clouds, like a pen dipped in ink. A familiar scene unfolds before Lucien's eyes. He knows he can't refuse. No, this is what he came for. The troop master seems to have lots of affection for him. Lucien gives him a slight nod.
First, we have Dalton. Originally, this middle-aged actor who could resemble nothing more than a walking corpse didn't feel the scene was all that significant. He offered up what little lucidity he could muster from the last dregs of his acting instincts, recited his few remaining lines, and held out until the director called cut, all to earn just enough for another night of drinking. He's never mourned the actress who died because of him, nor reminisced about his once-spirited past. He was not even ashamed of his current sorry state. You manipulated him. Indeed, without my intervention, he would never have taken it upon himself to retrieve the swapped knife and deliver it to you. But I never commanded him to put his chest up to the blade. By the time you were acting opposite of him, he was already fully awake, fully aware of the danger he was in. Lucien, your talent shines just as brightly in film as it did on stage. Your performance awakened his memories, reminding him how great an actor he once was, of a time when he was immersed in his roles. expressing real emotions: joy, sorrow, fury, and mirth. And that moment, the messenger slipped fully into character, while the looming threat of financial ruin warped Sir Dupont's thoughts. He had to cover up the truth, and to do whatever it took to kill the person before him, without pausing to think that his own blade might be turned on him. You're right there with them. You know better than anyone just how intense his fear and anger were in that moment. As a farewell performance, it was nearly perfect. Indeed, death's imminent approach did not frighten him. Instead, it ignited his competitive fire, which had long been dulled by drink. He performed with unrestrained zeal. It was exhilarating. Then there was Michael and Marianne. The philandering actor and the shrewd costume designer were found hanging above their own set, their farcical romance laid bare for all to see. Their union was both shameful and absurd, a mess of indulgent desire, scheming ambition, mutual disdain, and mutual exploitation. There wasn't a trace of anything real about them, inside or out. That Michael, even his ears and tail were fake. Their death served no purpose, save for giving that camera assistant a juicy bit of gossip to peddle. But you, Lucien, you were at the scene. Even the cat could taste the lingering emotions left behind. When Moira knocked on the door, and the footsteps of death drew near, in that fleeting moment, where there was no time to think, I'm sure you know what each of them did. Tear stains. What a fascinating detail. Tear stains lingered in the corners of his eyes. None of the three Rockefeller brothers had ever shown Lady DuPont such heartfelt emotion. But Firearm's axe was originally meant for Marianne. Yet Michael shielded her from harm, exposing himself to the blade instead. In the last moment of their lives, that man and that woman, who up to that point had been attacking each other, instinctively protected each other.
So toxic. Wow, so they did love each other.
They confirmed their true feelings for one another, although this by itself is not worthy of praise. You're correct, my child. However, the audience had already taken their seats. What did they expect to see in this illusion of light and sound? Ultimately, the schemers will end up with nothing while the hedonists are devoured by their own desires, yes? Naturally. It's the neatest kind of story. It's an excuse to trot out well-worn platitudes.
Wow.
Well, they would never imagine that a flawed, unworthy love could still be real, and still turn heads. Just as those two never imagined there would be a moment when they grew feelings for each other. Made possible by death. Made possible by death.
Ah, yes, the Age of Desires. Black Snake, conquest and manipulation and hatred. Clovicia, obligation and truth and deceit. Ultianchi, who knows? True Bleeder just wants drama. He wants entertainment. Pure entertainment.
And then, of course, there was Moira, the one I had the highest hopes for before you showed up. Moira built her faith through another's death. Every detail about Laura was etched into her mind: her name, her eating habits, her unmistakable smile, her extraordinary life, her violent end, and the killers who still hadn't been brought to justice. Grief, anger, doubt, hatred, every emotion that rose within her set fire to a buried past and to herself. She directed this entire performance. Why do you insist on downplaying your own role in all this? It was you who inserted that ad-libbing, forcing a past that did not originally exist into her mind, bringing Laura into her life. Yes, and what of it? Look at her. She's dancing. You were a dance partner back then. You must have felt it. She isn't like the children from the Crimson Troop, who have been receiving White Flower's training since they were young. But when you look at her dancing, her physique, her tears, her smile, she's acting out a version of life, or perhaps crafting a kind of truth, or perhaps she no longer has any constraints and can be whoever she wants to be. She will dance through countless people's lives. Dithyram unending. Until her mind and body can no longer bear the weight of those emotions. Or maybe she will finally encounter you or some other fool seeking the truth and might finally awaken from her dream and end her own life. Regardless of her ultimate fate, her soul will be rich and fulfilled. Regardless of her ultimate fate, she's already no longer just a nameless prop maker from the frontier. No longer a Zalek, with nothing and no one to hold onto. You're as talkative as ever, troop leader. It's been a long time since you've spoken about someone with such passion. Not since you, Lucien.
Is his passion for entertainment? Though in a way, it is pretty sick. But he's true to himself. Still like him better than stinky Uncle Black Snake.
I don't deny that I've exerted my influence on Moira. I encouraged her, just as I once encouraged you. My child, have you forgotten? If not for your thirst to perform, you would have died long ago. When the catastrophe drove you from your home, when you lost your parents, when you found yourself adrift in that towering castle amongst strangers, you said,
only when I'm in character, on the stage. That's the only time my loneliness disappears. The only time I feel like I belong.
You clung to that feeling and it kept you alive. You and Moira, you're both natural-born actors. You both create sorrow and joy from nothing, and use those emotions to survive. No one can ignore your brilliance. And for both of you, my two children, death shall be your teacher. Do you still remember when you hit that wall in your development? When you could not draw inspiration from anything, and were unable to power your performance? That was when you thrust that originium into your throat without hesitation. Then you felt the grip of death, your inescapable fate. It gave you fear, jealousy, sorrow, anger, shame, and greed, emotions once foreign to you. And after witnessing all these things, your heart has become a mirror.
Hello, hello.
It fueled your desire to dismantle authority, your thirst for destruction. It gave you an endless night, and a song that never ceases. It turned the unassuming Lucien into a gleaming blood diamond. Blood Diamond, my eternal moniker. Think of Dalton, child. Think of Michael and Marion. Think of Laura and Moira. Look at all these souls still struggling through the catastrophe. And look at yourself. You're right, death is still the device I wield best, the ending I've always favored. But I do not see death as destruction. It drives the mighty to disgrace themselves, the devoted to break their commandments, the pure to sink into filth, and the heroic to commit treachery. It gives strength to the dejected, compels the silent to shout their ideals, draws real emotion from the self-absorbed, and frees the timid from their ambitions. It shows climbers the next foothold. It gives the farsighted the courage to leap. It turns self-proclaimed beacons into the real thing. It sows meaning and waters flaws. It cultivates truth and fertilizes falsehoods. It turns dying flesh into blooming flowers and engraves what would fade without trace. It is agony without relief, and overflowing inspiration. It is drama's cause and consequence, its flesh and its soul, the great force behind creation, the law and tether that binds every ideology, every style, every exploration. It is the appointed end, where all things return to dust.
The troop leader turns to Lucien, the same smile still lingering on his lips. The wind and sand howl around them, but he remains unfazed.
Child, death is also our chance to reunite. What a shame, quite a monologue, yet such little applause. Because I'm the only one standing across from you, and the only one who ever could.
Noise sounds out from all directions, but Lucien listens intently. The catastrophe rages. Miss Christine lets out a low howl, something she would normally never do. Their newly acquainted companions scatter in panic, crying out for help in vain. As the troop leader said, death is unfolding on stage. What began with a few intense scenes has now taken over the entire production.
You say death is our chance to reunite. I completely agree. So I won't waste this opportunity. If I may, I'd like to share a few thoughts of my own, now that you've finished your analysis. After all, both you and I know this routine by heart.
The storm snaps off a part of the scaffold, sending a shower of sparks. A nearby rug catches fire. and the flames leap dangerously close to Lucian's side. But he's not even flinch. He stares intently at the person standing before him and removes his hat. Dang, he looks so cool.
All this time, ever since you reappeared, you haven't even mentioned the many times I betrayed you. Why?
Smiles.
Because that is unimportant, because you're still you, child. Getting lost in madness, then returning to clarity, leaving only to later return. After all the trials and tribulations, a hard-won reunion is all the more precious. In the end, time can forgive all grievances. Is that so? I used to think the Crimson Troop was your quill, your canvas, and your trap. I thought that in this chaotic world, your audiences sought solace in your performances. I thought you were omnipresent and that no one could escape your grasp. Which is why the plan that I, Shalom, and the playwright came up with failed. Back then, I was young, naive, and full of pride. We believed that we had seen the truth for what it really was. But our carefully planned escape turned out to be just another act in your grand play. In the end, Shalom fled from you in fear while I came to you. You returned to my side. There was a moment when you decided to learn all of my techniques. You resolved to learn everything you could about the troop, and then use that information to destroy it. Your plan was to use death to stop death, and to use destruction to stop destruction. White Flower, Blade Dance, Shadow. The teachers you once learned from all died by your hands. As did I. I remember my voice, wild and cracking with rage, and the sudden warmth that surged from your chest the moment the blade went in. I thought I destroyed the Crimson Troop for good. And despite all that, I still failed. You didn't die, because death is ever-present and drama is eternal. Eternal, yes, but after that, I devoted even more time to studying all your greatest works, including myself. I wore down your eternity, as any slow-witted disciple might. And at last, I've arrived once more, stepping into your proud creation, a theater of death, a tragedy of art. Now at last, the catastrophe has finished setting our final stage. Troop leader, my dear teacher, perhaps I should call you Tragodia. I am going to destroy everything that is yours.
Lucian fastens the inhibitor at his throat. The exposed originium crystals gleam, as if already rejoicing at the song to come. He offers the troop leader a deep bow, as the clouds behind him comes crashing down. Final fight time. Oh man, if that was his title too, Tragodia. After defeating him, we steal his title. I kinda love that. The title shall be ours. Okay, let me set up the stage quickly. Okay, so far so good. And then we can make the boss regret spawning. Oh no, I need a healer. Oh no, my healer's not gonna hit far enough. Or reach far enough, uh-oh. Shoot, here you go, dude. Be distracted. I mean, healer? What healer? Clearly there's no healers here. Dang. Well, this is gonna be chaotic. Lack of healer bad. I'm so sorry, Miss Christine. Go get him. Thank you, Wizardel. Thank you for hitting hard. Wizardel's the greatest. Okay, what will you do now? This is fine. Poor Silver Ash. He's just by himself. Sir, can you just not destroy my healers, please? Like, come on, man. The way the guy's just slowly throwing his cassette tape. It's kind of funny. Slow motion. Go get him. Okay. Phew. Oh man, the dynamic between Lucian and the troop leader. True, how do you kill what cannot be killed? Oh man. I do think it's funny though how troop leader's like, no matter what, I'm gonna forgive you. Like, Lucian, you're my favorite. You give me the most entertainment out of everyone. Good boy. He's such a proud parent. The flickering lights of the ancient castle, the bloody corpses of the teachers, the hollow wind in the darkness. Forgetting all that was not difficult. Until one day when Lucian, who has by this time become an assassin, had a dream. He's still in the old castle, still in that empty hall, sitting alone, singing under the lights, with all the former members of his troop standing behind him, as alive as ever.
Child, we cannot truly erase our pasts. There will always be traces of them. Do you think I'm scared? No, I've simply finally confirmed that I have yet to fully tear out the ad-libbing you inserted into my life. In other words, you're still here. But you're correct, we cannot truly erase our pasts, and there will always be traces of them. So to bring your story to an end, I've been walking the same path that you once did. For all this time, I traveled across the entire land. Calais was a Gaulish border city. When the allied nations suddenly turned on them, Calais was thrown under the siege, yet thanks to its powerful cannons and the general held as the imperial standard bearer, Calais held fast for months. The general stood atop the wall, refusing sleep, refusing rest, refusing to give ground, with their banners still flying high. Even the weary soldiers held the line. Still, the unthinkable happened. The general's most trusted lieutenant opened the gates, a clear act of betrayal. The Emperor of Gaul had given up on Calais, as by then its fate was sealed. The imperial standard bearer had refused to surrender out of honor, and the trusted lieutenant believed he ought to stand by his general. After that, they'd already braved so many life or death situations together over the decades. But he knew that holding the line would only lead to more bloodshed. The city was doomed to become a graveyard.
Hello, hello.
Perhaps that battle-worn soldier simply realized that although there was no perfect choice, there was a way that would allow him to atone for his sins. He persuaded the general, who had long since become exhausted, to take a 10-minute break. Then he seized his opportunity to open the gate. Before the allied forces could enter the city, he drove his sword through his own heart. The traitor ended up being the most tragic casualty of the war. But that is ancient history now, Lucian. So ancient that may that many of the details have long been lost to the river of time. Victoria, Lithuanian, I spent months traveling across between more than a dozen cities across different nations, and at last I found an aging vanguard on the brink of death. The guard had seen the towering flames of Calais with his own eyes. He had found a badge of the traitor's corpse, two faces turned away from each other, one smiling and the other weeping. We all know what that symbolizes, dear teacher. Ha ha. Then I suppose he made other discoveries as well. Even earlier in Laterano, over 200 years ago, a brilliant cardinal was struck down by the gun knights in the plaza over the basilica. He was intelligent and compassionate, known as the Sancta closest to the Lord. At just 30 years old, he was already widely regarded as Pope's heir apparent. But then he changed. He grew radical, unyielding, unwieldy. He started preaching, rallying followers, and reaching out to foreign envoys, all in an attempt to check the Pope's authority. Until the situation deteriorated into a religious coup that threatened the entire city-state. The Pope was critically wounded, and the gun knights were deployed. The would-be usurper became the only cardinal in the history of Laterano to die during a coup. No one knows exactly what happened to him. At some point, in one of the Ecclesia Requiem, he had a chance encounter with a passing feline, but of course, that is hardly a lead worth chasing. It must have taken some effort for you to uncover all this. Indeed, it was quite troublesome. I merely offered the Sancta a bit of truth. He was already terminally ill, you know. Unlike the incompetent Pope who knew only how to interpret scriptures, his own zealousness knew no bounds. With limited time, he might not have been able to put his ideals into practice, to hear the church bells ring in the new era. But in truth, the moment the cardinal struck down the Pope, he came to his senses. He realized that death had never caught up to him with him after all. His sudden clarity only plunged him deeper into madness. Faced with the ruin he had wrought, did he choose to walk willingly into the gun knight's sights? A microcosm of political tragedy, from which many of the troops' plays took root. Quite a pity, isn't it?
These felines travel so much. Stares at troop leader, stares at Kelsey.
Iberia. It was during the glorious Golden Age. The lighthouse lit up an approaching ship only for people to discover it carried nothing but whispering winds from the ocean depths. Ticket stubs stamped with the image of the twin faces were scattered across the deck, and they drifted along with the ship in silence. The lost sailors sing.
Incite a young fowl to pick the fruit of pain.
Amidst the spires of Lithuanian, ancient arts recorded the nobles' laments and desperate cries.
Exile an infant to arrive at joyful death.
An encampment covered in thick snow. Weeds walk their own path. The city in the depths of the sands. Through tears, falsehoods, and riddles, he leaves a bed of withered flowers.
So many travels.
You are everywhere. I follow the path you once walked. I cross the lands, encountering all manner of people, and unearthing all manner of secrets. Until at last, buried in ancient tomes and tangled rumors, I uncovered your name. Tragodia. However, the legendary Tragodia is a god, beloved by the people. He wears a crown of grapevines. He is both intoxicated and intoxicating. He bestows joy and grace. He greets the farmers as they bring in their yearly harvest, guiding them from wilderness to civilization through revelry and celebration. But the true god of wine is a deceitful caster, a performer, an ascetic, a schemer, a firebrand, a phantom drifting through the currents of history, a long-lived that defies definition.
Flaps.
Your perseverance astonishes me, child, even more so than the painstaking devotion you once showed in your performances. And yet, when you look back at the path I've taken, shouldn't that be enough to affirm the purpose I've been chasing? As human affairs fade into obscurity, I found and built what I came to see as the ultimate vessel for beauty, the theater. I've lived long enough to see the very concept of theater become obsolete. At last, after tasting both joy and sorrow, I came to understand the precise conditions under which the most fervent emotions bloom. I founded the troupe, through which I've taught this knowledge to you. Oh, really? That contradicts what I've learned from my research, as in death I was walked by your side. That grand theory of yours about death and destruction was never the result of hard-won insight. You simply believed in it and saw beauty in it, and so did the theater. Let's set aside for the moment the brilliance or depravity of human nature that emerges in time of desperation, and turn to some more fundamental questions. From Laterana to Gaul, from Iberia to Sargon, from the old castle to this catastrophe-stricken land, you directed so many performances that shook the soul. So why have you allowed them to be lost to history? You don't want them to be remembered. You exalt the irrational and the unpredictable. So why must every story leave the same ending? Have the same ending, ruin. Well, what do you think the answer is, child? Tell me. Because it makes everything and everyone unverifiable, both within the theater and beyond. Because it grants you authority, lets you justify yourself, turns your so-called beauty into the only possible resolution. Steven? If you're still alive, say something. Greta? You really need to lock yourself up in your office. What happened outside? It's too much to explain right now. In short, the entire fleet is on a collision course with a catastrophe, and everyone else is already evacuated to the power deck. Are you alright? Yeah, something's wrong. The ceiling came down on my leg. I can't move. I'll rescue you. Damn it, the broken column has sealed the door shut. It's really heavy. Just wait a moment. Stay with me. Keep talking. Miss Stone, only now to understand that I am no way, shape, or form a genius. Huh? That God came to see me. He hasn't abandoned me. He's shown me a new way of thinking. Actually, he's always been teaching me. I like to think I make good use of my character's deaths, of every desperate situation. To nourish my stories, I did try that, after all, in the death of Lady DuPont. What else would it be called that? Laura from 5 years ago, and now Dalton, Shelley, Michael, and Marion. Each of their deaths was steeped in drama, vivid, poignant, and all too real. Those fragments are like autumn leaves, crimson as blood, and scattered everywhere. Each one is enough to stain the blank canvas of my mind with vivid color. But still, I can't write an ending that satisfies me. I still haven't figured out what kind of scene Lady DuPont's death ought to be. If death and destruction are a way of the god of theater, if they're the skills of a true genius, of the stage must master, well, I mean, I've never been able to learn them. I'm just a worthless hack. For the love of Borg 9, how can you be so stupid? Steven, the script auctions are anonymous, you know that, right? Delta and Abner, everyone in the crew has been shaped by what happened 5 years ago. I brought them together on purpose, but you're the one exception. When I proved that outline for the script, I had no idea it was written by you. I simply felt from the bottom of my heart that the story of Lady DuPont, a woman trapped by her brother's lies, and need for control, and tormented by the desires of the 3 so-called suitors, was worth my vote of approval. Aww. And yeah, maybe ask Melanie. Like heck. She even has that whole storyboard thing for the ending, for ideas too. I knew she'd be a great protagonist for an amazing story, whether she lived or died. I've never doubted my own vision. Hey, say something. What are you getting all melodramatic for? Well, I'm out here hauling rocks. So it turns out I just don't agree with. What are you saying? Oh. Saget. So it turns out I just don't agree with the god's methods. There we are. I did it. This place is about to collapse. I'll help you. Come on.
I guess we might get a happy ending then for the story.
Wait, Miss Stone. What now?
Britta helps hold Steven steady as they both come to a stop, and he looks to the side. There's a wall, only half of it still standing. Faint remnants of vivid graffiti stands out harsh against the grimy, dim surroundings. It is a giant promotional mural Tippy had painted for the crew. And by some stroke of luck, the title card remains unscathed amidst all the wind and flying debris. The death of Lady DuPont. Steven raises a blood-stained arm and, with considerable effort, wipes away the first 3 words. Lady DuPont.
My god. It's beautiful. Not even the most imaginative set designer in Rankwood could have created a scene like this. Who's to say that ending a film shoot under the shadow of a catastrophe isn't, in fact, the most fitting conclusion of all? This isn't just a publicity stunt. I'm finding myself more and more impressed by Greta's resolve. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's get back to the power deck. It's way too dangerous out here. Hey Melanie, leading lady, where are you going? Have you gone mad? Abner, you, all of you, never really believed this leading lady could make a comeback with this film, did you? You don't even think we'll finish filming it? Honestly, I feel the same. I mean, we don't even have the ending figured out yet, and this whole plane is about to collapse. But that doesn't mean you have to die for it, does it?
Ooh, it's animated in the background. The catastrophe is closing in. The howling wind is nature's roar, its fury written across the face of the clouds. But Melanie still walks forward to face it. I hope he's recording this. Come on, Abner.
Who said I have a death wish? Who says Lady DuPont has a death wish? Who says Lady DuPont is meant to die under her brother's oppression, felled by the swords of the 3 Rockefellers, at the hands of those onlookers who sought to curse her, humiliate her, drive her out? Must death be a symbol? She should instead, on a night no one could have foreseen, walk straight into a storm just as wild and chaotic as this one, leaving that prison of a castle behind. She shall not perish because this storm is a chariot that will lead her to freedom. You must have realized, Abner, that on my journey, I've always regarded Marianne as my imaginary enemy, yes? Yeah. But I know I'll never catch up to her. She was a true genius, born to inhabit any role she was given. Even fate itself seemed to orchestrate one final catastrophe, just so she could exit this business in a blaze of brilliance. And I'm nobody special, an ordinary woman from a small town who traveled to Rankwood and worked her way up to my role, film by film, for over a decade, gaining experience and recognition. That's why I care so much about seniority, status, and etiquette. The aspects of film set culture that so many scoff at, because that sort of recognition is the reward I deserve as an ordinary person. This land is quite cruel to ordinary people, Abner. Marianne's retirement gave me a chance to step into the spotlight, but it took only a single slip-up for me to lose everything I gained along the way. My acting skills have fallen off a cliff. My reputation is in shambles. I've tried everything I could think of, but I just couldn't seem to get it back. It's ridiculous. I never want to admit it, but it's true. If Marianne hadn't retired, I'd never have caught up to her. And right this very moment, this catastrophe is destroying the entire plate, along with my last hope. But couldn't you say, fate is smiling upon me? At least I finally have the courage to let go of my inhibitions, the courage to, at least, I finally mustered up the courage to take the first step. Come to me, Lady DuPont. Come with me, Melanie Rutherford, and dance together with the catastrophe. Even if no one is filming us.
I admire Melanie's dedication.
What are you still doing here, Abner? Check your camera. You didn't turn it on, did you? What do you mean? What if I've gotten swept away by the storm? What if your camera had accidentally captured my death, just like before? The last thing I want is to belittle your work and to force you to once again resent the tool of your trade. You know, Abner, I've always thought you were dumb. Hey, what would you know? The footage you accidentally recorded back then was at least stands as irrefutable evidence, ensuring that a girl named Laura wouldn't vanish from this land without a trace. Although I couldn't say that that's enough meaning for it to meet your exacting standards. Franken Kubrick, I am an idiot! This dream-making machine was only made in the first place because people wanted more eyes to see the land with. How long can you hold on, Melanie? I hope I don't break this thing. Let's finish filming.
I like how Melanie came up with her own ending. She's like, yeah, you know what? It plays in my hands now.
Can you see them? Can you hear them? They'll still find you survive the catastrophe. Nothing ever truly comes from nothing. Not even the most wondrous of art. And it is never death that suddenly awakens the lost or steals the timid. They always had it in them. So answer my question, Tragodia. Are you attempting to remind me that death would simply end the story, this performance, that there will be nary a trace left after the curtains fall, that it will have, objectively speaking, escaped any and all scrutiny and criticism of my work? That I am a thin-skinned artist? You really did find an interesting angle, Lucien. Perhaps what you say is right, but how are you going to change the ending that has already been written? The child, Tippy, really did adjust the path of the mobile plate by using only techniques she picked up from watching film reels. But the shift in its trajectory was insufficient. Nearly half the plate remains on a collision course with the storm. Lucien, you face a catastrophe when you're young. You should know that one of the scale will destroy everything on this plate.
Lucien gently strokes the crystal on his throat.
I haven't sung since releasing the inhibitor.
Singing, it is Blood Diamond Song. The song that once lit up countless stages before dying out amidst the darkness of that old castle. Today, it echoes once more. The sound passes through cracks in the ruins and the catastrophe itself, ringing clearly in everyone's ears.
Singing with such total devotion? No. It seems that dreams can also be used as barriers. This is the first time I've ever seen you use your arts in reverse, Lucien. Are you trying to protect everyone with the voice that once brought pain to yourself and disaster to others? Are you trying to face this catastrophe alone? Alone? No, you're here with me. Hold your scepter steady, Tragodia. From the moment I rose from that river and walked back to your side, from the moment I returned to the troop and stood before you once again, I've only ever had one motivation. At the climax of every tragedy, there's always a fierce, cathartic battle, be it inside a palace, atop a tower, or beneath this ever-shifting sky. Let us finish this drama, where the student kills the teacher. Haha, my favorite student, my best actor. Everything that is headed for destruction shall serve as your backdrop. I'm so glad you can enjoy this moment. Even I can't help but be swept away in it. I've forgotten all other matters. But you should know that killing a long-lived is meaningless. You just told me that I found an interesting angle. But it's not interesting, far from it. You aren't a thin-skinned artist, you've just been left with no other choice. It is not us who need to die, not the audience, not the common folk, bound by the laws of ordinary reality. It's you, Tragodia. You've walked through the history. You found the troop. You created dreams in darkness. You fed both me and Shalom with despair. You drawn in lost souls, one after the other. And lashed actor after actor. You taught us to feel pain, to learn evil, to be stained with blood, to sing of destruction. You taught us to dress for the stage, to wear a mask in life, to believe in what you called rebirth. You built a story and drew in an audience. You chose the Lateran Cardinal, the Gaulish General, White Flower, Blade Dance, Shadow, Delton, Shelley, Moira. You've chosen a million Lucians in which to bring about death. You exhausted its form, created its style, and perfected its meaning. Because it is all so far away from you. so far away. Long live death. Is the one shore you will never reach. Director, death is the one performance you can never take part in. Tragodia, death is the one art you will never embody. In all your aesthetics, your insights, your experiences, everything you pushed us to pursue has done nothing for you in the end. I once thought this brought you joy, but your sorrow was always outweighed your sense of accomplishment. If you yourself are the theater, then your very existence is a paradox. The ending is nigh, isn't it? Do you feel resentment, or resentful or helpless? Do you find this funny or confusing? Or have you simply ignored it? Have you never felt the same pain that I have?
Tragodia is uncharacteristically silent, his eyes fixed on the face in front of him that is lost in emotion. Lucian shouts loudly. The raging storm does not even distort his voice in the slightest. He sings, he chants, and chants, while originium crystals creep visibly across his neck.
Does it hurt, child? Yes, of course it hurts. If you keep using your arts without restraint, it will kill you, child. Are you jealous? Ha ha ha. Perhaps, but your performance really is moving.
Lucian responds to Tragodia with even greater fervor. His surging emotions give him newfound strength, and at last, he seizes the upper hand in their clash. In an instant, he plunges the scepter into Tragodia's torso.
Pain is my blade, and at last, I've driven it into the one who caused my pain in the first place. You.
The curtain must fall in every performance. Cycles will not help shape our so-called destiny. Child, I've just gained a new inspiration. The story deserves to be continued. The plate beneath their feet is swaying and shaking, but it's starting to stabilize. People start to poke their heads out from the ruins and look at the receding disaster. They can hardly believe the catastrophe they have just experienced. Hundreds of broken masks drop to the ground as Tragodia slowly falls to his feet. Lucian is sure that he has pierced Tragodia's heart and completed his grand, murderous drama. However, he also notices a change in himself.
These clothes, this scepter, this crown. Have you given me a new ad-libbing?
New drip acquired. Final present. The silver-white hem of his robe flutters in the wind, brushed by grains of sand, yet spotless as ever. Lucian silently studies the elegant garment. It is flamboyant and exquisite, and fits him perfectly, as if it had been tailored just for him. He could walk into any festival or onto any stage in it, and it would suit him perfectly. It is as if this is the catastrophe's gift to him, his reward for slaying his teacher. The theme of this murder was clearly betrayal, yet at the last moment, it became a passing of the torch. Lucian is silent. The fallen Tragodia has disappeared. Where he once lay, there was only blood, and his mask. The dark red carpet extends upward along the steps without end. This is the path he was meant to walk, and is now free of all obstacles. These thoughts spring into Lucian's mind from nowhere. So he climbs the stairs without lowering his head or looking back. Just then, he hears Tragodia's voice.
Lucian, you're the finest actor in the land. You've honed your craft well, and used your powers of reason to grasp hold of the mask of emotions. You know well my origins, so it should be clear that you have not ended me by merely killing me. You shouldn't pin your hopes on a scene that was once performed in an ancient castle. Or is it that you were certain that I would think this way, make this choice? Haha, it's also interesting. Maybe you were right, death is the one shore I will never reach, the one performance I can never take part in, the one art I can never embody. Weeds walk their own path. Through tears, falsehoods, and riddles. He leaves a bed of withered flowers. He writes his epitaph into the stirring dust.
waiting for the day when he gazes upon it. Beautiful.
Death or destruction is the greatest gift you could ever give your teacher. But have you considered that what you now reject and what I've left behind is only one of the theater's countless possibilities, one of the many ways beauty can be defined, and therefore, that what you've just killed was but one of my thousands of existences? Go on. Life rushes by, but the theater endures. The theater will never perish, and aesthetics will always change, so therefore, I will always stand at the pinnacle of everything. The theater cannot be killed. I can only redefine it, replace one theater with another, or throw old aesthetics with new. I can become the new one with the new you. If that is the only possible fate for the two of us, then I accept it. You see, Lucien, once again we've entered into a tacit agreement. Ha ha. Continue forward. Climb to the highest point on the stage. You shall wear the crown of performance. You shall wield the scepter of inspiration. You shall wear the years of performing and being performed. This process will only add to your pain, but you must accept it. Child, you shall walk from here with both my blessing and my curse. I fulfilled the promise I made to you when we first met. I will never be an obstacle to you, or an obstacle to theater. This is my final gift to you. How much further can you walk? What other answers can you come to? Tragodia.
See, so much nicer than Stinky Snake Uncle. Lucien does not answer, and the sound finally stops. He stands at the top of the stairs. The storm is far away now, and blood trails behind him. He loves this desolate scene. He loves the unformed arts in his body, and he stretches out all his pain. When the new Tragodia sings his song, oh gosh, there's one more. A word to the audience. The curtain shall never fall. And let me check real quick. Let me use my phone. He truly had a genuine passion for the theater, you're right. He was true, Lucien. Like, I'll never get in your way, boy. Like, heck, when he first met Lucien as like a little kid, Lucien's words to him, being about the theater, probably was like, oh my goodness, this boy, he's perfect. And that's when he became the favorite. But now, a word to the audience. I want to see the play. I want to see Lady DuPont. Or I mean, the movie, Lady DuPont. Ooh, okay. Nomadic prison 2 months later. Oh, she lived. Molly, you lost so much weight. I just spent 2 whole months in bed. I went looking for you once the play stopped. When I saw medics carrying you out all covered in blood and you weren't moving, I thought you were dead. His singing voice is terrifying. But he only wanted to stop me. He didn't want to kill me. It definitely wasn't a coincidence that he bumped into Greta at the auction. Like she said, he had another motive to join the film crew. And what was that? He was looking for something that exists, something that's always with us, even though we know nothing about it. Okay, I knew he was a mysterious dude, but now I'm even more confused. But forget about him. I'm sorry for taking so long to come see you, mostly because they make it a real pain to file a visitation application for this place. I know, Tippy. But I used you and caused others to misunderstand you. Lucien was right. I was ignoring the truth in my hands. In my final moments of madness, I didn't even think of you. Ouch. For me, Chagodi's just a guy who likes entertainment. who just seeks it out, which is understandable. Listen to me, Molly. No matter what you went through, no matter what your goal, you're the people who are by your side. I mean, you're the people who are by our side practically 24/7. You're a criminal, and I won't ever forgive you for that. But it doesn't mean I can't also miss the times we would crash on the sofa to watch horror flicks, just the two of us. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that, like, real? Yeah. When I was stuck in bed, my wounds hurt so bad I couldn't sleep. I kept recalling everything that happened. A whole night would pass, but only my pain was real. Honestly, it doesn't matter how absurd the story gets, or if we're all puppets of fate or whatever. It's not like I never had a choice. If only I'd focused more on the movies we were watching, instead of thinking about the truth I thought was real. Hatred, madness, blood, and puppets. I'm sorry, Tippy. If I met you earlier, maybe you wouldn't have even needed Laura. The final day of your trial is in 2 days, right? I talked to a few lawyers, and it seems like... Don't let my ending bother you. The warden's nice here. He let me stay in the prison's logistics department during these last few days to make stuff the prisoners can use. I'm not living like I was before, merely waiting in vain for the finale. Good, good. Haha. You're almost out of visiting time, so let's talk about about happier stuff. What happened to the movie we all shot together? One day ago. Ooh. Wow, everyone's here already. Sorry I'm late.
Nervous, Steven? A bit. Relax. We shot that ridiculous finale and then it went to editing, color grading, and music production. Everyone did their best to complete the production in only 2 months. I'm glad we agreed on the title change, Steven. I should be thanking you again for your final performance inside the catastrophe. Otherwise, deleting those 3 words would have been nothing but pretentious navel-gazing. Lady DuPont is by no means as attention-grabbing as the death of Lady DuPont, but let Greta worry about the marketing. There is no doubt in my mind that our new title suits the story best. Right, I'll handle that. I'll get Lady DuPont into theaters, then visit a police station to do what I have to do.
Pinch me. I'm not seeing things, am I? Pinch you, just stab your shutter already. This is guaranteed to go on the front page tomorrow. How did the niche AGFF attract such a distinguished guest? How much did the organizers spend? How many years has it been since Marion Blake showed up in Rankwood? Ooh, Marion Blake. Grandma Jara. Grandma!
It's been a while, Tip. Judging by your outfit, let me guess what your role in this was. Script supervisor, prop master, stunt woman, or some kind of Furniture City warrior?
Background painter, of course. I've been in this crew for half a year and was even selected to join the Rankwood Studio Plate restoration project last week. The plate our crew rented got totally wrecked by catastrophe, so the boss put me in charge of the design work once it's rebuilt. I've been, like, so busy.
Haha. I see you finally figured out what you want to do.
I told you before, didn't I? I love movies, every last part of them. And now I finally found out what my favorite part is.
So you don't plan on going back?
Do you keep shilling me from the old man?
Tip. Your grandfather may be an old friend of mine who used to be my finest partner in the industry, but it doesn't mean he'll let me tell him how to raise his grandkids.
Just tell him the next time you have tea with them. Him? We're all retired, aren't we, old chap? Why waste your time worrying about the little things? I know Tip didn't use any of your contacts, nor did she follow your plan to become a historical film director, but isn't she living it up in Rankwood? Who knows, half the backdrops in town might be spray painted by your granddaughter one day.
Alright, I recorded all that. I'll play for him the next time we meet.
Aw, Grandma Jara.
Fine, but I might not have the time to see your grandpa the next time I'm in Colombia.
Oh yeah, didn't you go all the way to the room bulletin for some fresh air? Did you come back for Ryan lab stuff?
That's too many questions, Step. Once the screening's done, I have to head over to Max DC to see the vice president. So at least let me have a chat with an old friend, will you? Long time no see, Marianne. Just call me Jara. After so many years away from the silver screen, Marianne sounds like a stranger's name to me. Either way, I have to thank you, Jara. I'm sure you know that given my current reputation, I don't have much of an influence in the industry anymore. So without your help, the AGFF would never have allowed Lady DuPont as a late submission. It was my pleasure. Though I must say, I had no idea that Tippy was actually... I would have helped you with or without her. I just watched the part with the catastrophe and felt it'd be such a pity for the audience to miss out on the actress's performance, so I thought I'd do an old friend a favor. But even if Lady DuPont gets free marketing at AGFF, it doesn't always translate into box office numbers. Melanie, you know better than I that if Frankwood were a person, he would be the most forgetful and least tolerant person there is. It's no guarantee that he'd accept a lover running back into his arms. Besides, he did destroy an entire plate. Even if the film's a smash hit, he might not make enough to pay back for the damages. At least I did it, and I have no regrets. But rather than mulling over all that, I'd like to ask you a question. Go ahead. When you encountered a catastrophe while shooting the eternally shining star, the camera caught you as the storm nearly missed you. Was it just an accident, like you said on the press conference, or did you also move toward it of your own will? Is the answer to that still important to you even now? Hahaha, no. It sure is hard to say if I really did beat you in the end. The splendidly dressed female lead laughs heartily before every camera in the room, though she does not even know what she's laughing at. After a long time, she opens her arms towards her former rival, the genie she always thought she would never catch up to, the one she'd always exchanged polite greetings with on camera, for a hug, and it is returned in kind. Let's head in. Melanie Rutherford, or as Lady DuPont. Michael as the Three Rockefellers. Dalton as Sir DuPont. Pseudo-ageless. Lucien as the messenger. Producer Greta Stone. Director Screenwriter Stephen Quay. Coordinator Shelley. Art Department Carl, Bob, Tippy, Jericho. Production Abner, Leo. Costume Department Marianne. Prop Department Moira. Stage Department Cotton. It's over? Yup.
Thoughts on the film?
I heard about what happened behind the scenes, the murders, the catastrophe. Even the project management was a mess. Before I sat down to watch it, I thought the film couldn't possibly live up to all that, but... An absurd noble's marriage breakdown ending with a catastrophe. The plot twist and made sense, but so many of the characters were just bizarre. It's hard to say if it's good or bad, but it's a lot to chew on.
Same, to be honest. Story aside, even the production was pretty controversial. Like, the cinematography is inconsistent at times. The first part was shot meticulously, like a serious historical drama, but it becomes rougher and rougher towards the end, especially the catastrophe scenes, where it's totally filmed like a documentary. It's definitely going to be polarizing. The fans will rate it highly, while the haters are going to hate it. But that's what makes it interesting, isn't it? Rankwood's been getting more and more boring over the years, and that goes for AGFF films too. But this one, I'd buy a ticket to Lady DuPont. Let's see the director and cast to say during the post-screening roundtable. Oh yeah, I heard that unlucky-looking gal in the front worked on it too. Oh boy, my luck is awful. After a month of applications, I finally landed a spot as their last stagehand. But then all that happened the moment I arrived on set. I lost so much sleep after running into those corpses. And if it weren't for the insomnia, I wouldn't have kicked the wall with my mind all messed up, broken my leg when I was trying to follow everyone down to safety when the catastrophe came near. And if I didn't break my leg, I wouldn't have missed my bus and missed the first half of the screening. Oh my goodness, what is with Hotten? The unlucky stagehand mutters to herself as the credits roll. She recalls her experiences and cannot help but feel sorrowful about it all. Even the images of the screen on the screen feel strange to her. Familiar faces and scenes have all been assembled in a way she cannot understand. Just like her topsy-turvy life. Then she spots her name at the end of the credits. Stage apartment, Hotten. No matter how the hand of fate may change, it will eventually leave a line. A truth you believe in. Oh, look at the three here.
It's over. Aren't you taking part in the post-screening roundtable? I'm not with them. Besides, the two of you are here. Ha, true enough. Yes, it was wonderful. Be it the film itself or otherwise. Lucien. Is he dead for good this time? Or is he still alive somehow? I'd have to think about that. But all you need to know, Shalom, is that you won't have to worry about shadows from the past invading your dreams, even when you're on Rose Island, ever again. And playwright, you may write your scripts as you wish, about any topic in any style. The Crimson Troop is no more. You two are free. And you? You just said you'd have to think about his ending, which means you're stuck on that path, correct? Drama never dies. So, is the one sitting beside me now, right now no longer Blood Diamond, but Tragodia? It sounds like you paid a heavy price, Lucien. I wouldn't say so. If our previous attempts at escape or revenge were just scripts for us to follow, then now we can finally step into the future. I will travel again, sing and perform again, until I'm certain that what I write, what I create, manages to match my joy and pain. It could be a new troupe or a new proposition, new adventures and new stories, or a more dazzling tomorrow, a more tragic truth. Hey Shalom, we're all buddies here. Would you like to lend him a hand? Lucien, are you sure about this? Of course. Those who have lost themselves in their haste. The ascetics whose close off their senses and themselves. The lay people who trudge through both highs and lows, and the creatures who chew on their pain. This land has never lacked for actors. So I welcome you both to join the troupe.
The new troupe. The good troupe. And oh man, I'll save the files for later. I want to be able to grab a snack before later on tonight. Though I like this. Act or die. I wish you could see the film. I want to see it in its entirety. Like, oh man. The biggest shock was Tippy. Grandma Jara. Like, that was the biggest surprise to me. Don't mind me just buying some stuff real quick. Oh man, I gotta farm so much more. At least I got enough for these two main things. Gosh darn it. I like this event. It was fun. I think he's treating it like retirement. He's not gonna be active. He's gonna be passive, just watching, if anything. He's just having fun at this point. He's like, Tragodia, new Tragodia, Phantom, Lucien. Thank you. You made all this worth it in the end. My boy. My best boy. Here you go, my final gift to you. I will never be in your way. You provide the most entertainment. You're the best actor I could ever ask for. For you, my boy. Take on my title. Take on these fancy new clothes. You truly are the greatest. Acting like a proud father to them. Yeah, it'll be different like Crimson Troop for reals. That's a good thing though. You're like, okay, fine, maybe death isn't always the answer. There could be other endings that are fun too. So show me a new ending, boy. Entertain your papa here. I like that, that was fun. Very sweet. And oh, Miss Christine. To become more powerful by the end. All for you, Miss Christine. But now I'll get ready-ish. I didn't eat anything today so far. I know it's bad sounding, but I was trying to sleep the sickness away. Like, I think most of it's gone by now. But I was so bad. I'm just like, you know what? Sleep, 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 sleep. Heck, there's not even time for me to grab food at this point. I'll just message my bro being like, on the way back from work, can you please pick me up some fast food? I'll grab a bag of chips though. I need to leave some calories. Before my organs eat themselves. So with that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the epic gacha luck. I'll see you guys later. Boy boy. Woohoo, success. And I will raise my bond with you, Miss Christine. Oh, for Miss Christine. Miss Christine, Miss Christine, Miss Christine.